My sister plans to legally change her name to my name, so I confronted her.
That's honestly just too confusing. If we're being honest.
We're going to figure out what's going on here. I really need help. If you can think of a better subreddit, let me know. My sister is trans and has been in transition for about 2 years. It's been a long and complicated, but we've always been really close as siblings, and I have supported her through it all. By the way, this comes from Walrus with an I. And if you want to send in your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit and send them in. Now, at the beginning, she wanted to be called S, which is the first letter of her given name and is also the first letter of my name. So we all embraced her as S, and it was great. Last week, I logged onto Facebook and I saw that her name had changed to my name. Interesting. My exact name I thought was a prank. I got you. Guys. We're figuring it out,
guys.
We're figuring it out. And you know what? Well, it's going to be fun. And we're going to make it part of the stream, okay?
Shout out.
We're just throwing mice around.
Yeah,
okay?
Shout out to Mice Window, guys.
Shout out to Mice Window.
That was actually Mice Window that we just passed over there.
So last week, I logged into Facebook, and I saw that her name had changed to my name.
Okay. Because, I mean, maybe that's just an oversight. Maybe
she forgot.
Maybe she just woke up and was like, am I my sibling?
Dude, could be.
Could
we
be.
Don't know. We don't know. My exact name, I thought it was a prank or something, but I called her immediately and she was basically like, yeah, I really like that name and I think it fits. No asking if it was okay or saying, gosh, I hope you don't mind. Just total casual oblivion, Opie says. My name is really uncommon. It's not Ann or something like that. Shout out to all you Anns out there.
Yeah,
no offense.
Shout out to Ann getting dunked on right now.
It's not some coincidence. And I asked her if there was something to this, and she just sounded like she didn't really get why I was even talking to her about it. My name is also my brand. I am relatively well-known freelance designer, and my name is my business name. So I'm knee deep in my name. That's what I'm saying. Then yesterday, I heard from one of her friends, and she is planning on formally going through with a legal name change. I wanted to support her like I always have. We're so close, and I have always been a huge advocate for her, but I am having an incredibly hard time accepting this. Am I making too big a deal about it? Can anyone tell me what's going on? Thank you so much. We have an edit. But before we get into that, my good friend Dakota, I do have to pose something to you.
Yes.
If I had a sibling also named John Fry, if you had a sibling also named Dakota Payne, does sound kind of fun.
I mean,
does sound kind of fun.
It probably would be, best if you were tight-knit with that person.
Yeah.
So that you guys are kind of a package deal, right? Where you go, they go. Where I go, you go.
Dude, twins would that be?
Or maybe,
crazy.
Like it's John and then John, but spelled with no H, just Jon.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just like a technically
I'll give them that. They can
distinction.
Take that trash. Yeah. Like garbage. It's garbage.
John appreciates his H's, okay?
Listen, if you are a John without an H, I don't want to talk to you ever.
Really quick side tangent. Did you know that H is the only letter in the alphabet that has no sound? Like try to say H by itself. It's just an exhale. Nope. But it's not like a phonetic sound.
So edits. Thank you all so much for the advice so far. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I feel a lot less unreasonable. I'm going to call her again and invite her to dinner tomorrow or Friday. I might invite one of our mutual friends who she really respects and tends to listen to when she doesn't listen to me, but I haven't decided yet. I don't want her to feel ambushed. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you all posted, definitely. Bonus edit, since a lot of people are saying that using a throwaway doesn't help with my situation, is so unique. Yeah, I guess when your whole story revolves around your name, not having your name, it would help. It would help.
Yeah.
When my situation is so unique and identifiable by people who actually know me, oh well, I just didn't want people I know looking at my posting history and seeing it there. But if they stumble across this, hey, it happens. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, the update.
The update.
Or should I say, update's sister update. Here's what happened / is happening. I talked to one of our level-headed mutual friends who has been really great at getting through to my sister in the past when I haven't been able to. She told me that this subject has been a huge thing in their circle of friends with all of those giant Facebook groups where people were trying to figure out what was going on. Several thought the same change was some weird prank or something, like I initially did. So apparently all these Facebook groups and all their homies are like, what's going on? Who's who?
Yeah. We literally can't tell the difference. Were they really that close to you if they're like, we no longer know which one is which?
Yeah, guys, like, come on. We got to figure this out. The mutual friend informs that no, it isn't a joke. So everyone was trying to decide how best to approach it. But so far, no one besides mutual friend, who was the one who told me that she was going through with a legal name change, had actually talked to my sister about any of it. So the question then was whether it would be better if her friends talked to her about it, since they could provide an outsider non-family perspective, or if it was better for me to do it. After going back and forth, we decided that I should do it. So I called my sister and we made plans to get dinner together the following day, Saturday. But that night, Friday, my sister went out to a Halloween party with some of her friends, and one of them decided it would be a really great time to confront my sister about the name change, and did so, saying completely untrue, inflammatory things about me, like that I was going to file a restraining order if she took my name.
Wow. Oh my God.
This is not helping the situation, but math. That I was embarrassed about her being trans. All the people who were there and witnessed it tell me it was really, really bad. Mind you, I'm about 800 years too old for this kind of crap. That's a lot of years too old.
Yeah.
Around John's age.
You know, right around the same. So my sister calls me wasted and crying, and she's hardly making any sense, and I have no idea what is going on. I go pick her up and get briefed on what happened by someone, and my sister is furious at me, but then she's also too wasted to really have a meaningful conversation or direct her fury in a constructive way. So I get her in the back of my car. She falls asleep.
She yarks.
She yerks.
Yorks.
She yoinks. Family is great.
What a classic combo.
Dude.
I'm pretty. Didn't Taylor Swift make a song about that?
Oh, yakking.
Barfing in the back seat, and then I fell asleep.
That's a song?
Might be. No, it's not a song.
I'm about to say, dude, Taylor Swift retire right now. Dude, get out of the Grammys. No more award handings
for you. It's a deep cut. She was unreleased.
Golly.
Yeah.
Golly. So I set her up on my couch and spent all night figuring out what exactly to say. I read through the responses to my original post again and tried to compile the best advice into a concise, meaningful statement against taking my name. I wanted to go compassionate, reasonable route and not the I'll sue you route.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think you could do that. And then also, has anything been done legally yet, or is this just on Facebook?
It's not even on Facebook. So literally, she was going to like have this great sit down talk with her. I'm like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. But some random a friend at the party confronted her, and she was like, you're out here stealing Opie's name, and so Opie's going to file a restraining order against you if you do that. And then also, she's not supportive of transition and all this stuff. And Opie's like, that's literally not at all what I'm doing. So there's just misinformation, dare I say, yakking around.
Sometimes people just like, if the situation doesn't concern you, mind your business sometimes.
Mind your business. OP literally, and also it was the friend group that collectively, the friend group even talked together and decided to let OP handle it.
Yeah, this is weird.
I said basically, I love you tons and you know that, and I've always supported you through everything, always. My name is my identity. It's important to me, blah, 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 blah. Your identity is important to you, blah, 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 blah. She had been listening the whole time, then interrupted me and responded with the following direct quote. Wow. Butthurt much?
Oh. Well, now she asked you. She gets your name. It's too late.
You butthurt, bro?
It's too late. She got you. You're butthurt. Got you. Now she owns your name.
Hope he says, yeah, that's right. Wow, butthurt much. Yes, all of my years of support and undying love and advocacy, and I get a wow, butthurt much. So now I'm actually peeved, and I am slightly less nice and more realistic about the implications that us having the same name would have. She says, you're making a big deal over nothing. And I say, my identity isn't nothing. It was like a Lifetime original movie. I ask her to tell me why she doesn't think this is a big deal. She says that people have the same name all the time, citing some kids that lived on the same block growing up that were both named Thomas. So one was by Thomas B. One is not like the other here.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally your sister and like...
Well, the context of this argument essentially boils down to, my feelings matter more from like both sides. And it's like, I think the one with precedent wins. If it's been your name your whole life, And you go, and you have a business surrounding it. It's like, no, it's my name first.
And also, like, maybe there's an ulterior motive here. I don't know. Because it's like, y'all, there's so many other names. There's so many other names.
Like, literally, you could pick out, like, I had a friend growing up, like, their family, they had, like, 9 siblings, and they all their siblings, their mom and their dad, all their names started with J.
That is illegal.
Dude, well, that's my family. Riley, Ryan, Richard, Ryder, and then my dad's name's Ryan, and then my grandpa's name's Richard.
So you get it.
She was saying it wasn't a big deal. I said that it isn't the same at all because we are directly related. Thomas B and Thomas K. No, that's no way. It went around like this for a while, and I was growing more frustrated, and I was worried I was going to say something I would regret. So I had her call a friend to pick her up and got out of there before I lost it. I told her I wanted her to really, really think on this decision and if picking my name was really being true to her unique self. And that although we clearly don't see eye to eye on this right now, please just promise me you won't go through with a legal name change at this point. She rolled her eyes, but agreed. Pinky promised. So there's that. That's more important than a legal document. But then she said, I don't know why you're making such a big deal about this. So that was Saturday morning. Okay. Sunday morning.
It's just so ridiculous. I don't see why you're making such a big deal about this. You're also making a big deal about this.
Yeah.
You're making it a big deal that I won't let you have my name. So what do you mean?
Yeah.
Why am I making a big deal out of it? You know why.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like they are doing the same thing to each other. And instead of like, Opie came to the table, which, hey, this is not necessarily the wrongest approach ever, but Opie came to the table and was like, here's why I like want this, right? What if it was like, hey, I want to hear why you want this. I want to like understand where you're coming from and like what your feelings are on this. And like, I'd love to share too after, but we can kind of share, you know.
Just feels like a fixation to be like, I need your name.
Yeah.
My sibling,
No,
I need your name.
So on Sunday morning, I wrote to her and reiterated what I had said the same day before, but also told her that I need some time to cool off from this whole thing. A lot of people in my original post responded that they thought that she was just playing this off as something mean to do, something sinister, like steal my credit rating and open so-and-so bank accounts in my name, or that she's envious and that I was born in a female's body and lived the same life she is, from her point of view, could have easily had, one that was free from painful struggles with identity. I definitely do not think that the former is true for a multitude of reasons, but I do think that the latter holds a lot more weight than I previously thought. She does see a counselor, and I'm sincerely hoping that she is talking this out with them. Once I calm down a little bit...
Yep.
Once I calm down a little bit, I may see if she would be interested in having a couple of sessions together. I am hoping that this passes, even though that this is happening and all very uncharacteristic. She isn't usually lacking this much in empathy and clueless seemingness. But for now, she is not going to legally change her name, and that is a small victory, and we will see what happens next. Thanks again for all the support and advice in my original post. If people are interested in what happens next, I will keep you posted. Now, about my parents' involvement of all this, for those who are asking, here's some of my parents. When my sister came out to them, it was a mess. Actually, before we get into this, how are we feeling right now, Dakota?
I mean, victory, right?
Yeah, at least for now.
I mean, let your sister try to steal your name in a non-legal capacity, maybe?
I don't know. It's better than, I guess, that, but...
They will, if you stop fixating on it, I bet they will move on. That's my gut check here, is that it's like... By feeding into the like, no, you can't, then it's going to be like the, yes, I can. And if you just are like, fine, whatever, you're not doing it in the courts, then it's just going to be like, all right, I'll be someone else. At some point, that's my bet. That's my guess.
The whole journey of transitioning is a journey. So probably like in her like in what's going on with her right now, maybe there's something going on where it's like, I see that my sister got to live this life and I want that. And this is a way of like, it maybe feels comforting, like things of that nature to her. Like, I get to finally I've like idolized and kind of like wanted my sister's life. So this is kind of like the crown jewel of me, like completing this journey.
Which is so funny to me because from my perspective, it's like, that's a completely hollow, empty thing. Like to be like, I want the experience of my sibling, so I'm just going to make my name theirs. That doesn't categorically change anything about your experience or your perspective.
It doesn't change it. I think it's like OP was saying, it might just be a mental thing.
That's exactly. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, hey, like, what about stepping into like your shoes? You know,
right?
Your new journey as like becoming your own person.
Yeah, and it's like you can want to emulate your siblings, but like emulate their behavior, emulate their decisions. If they're like having a flourishing career, it's like maybe you want to emulate their work ethic. Maybe you want to emulate their drive.
But we have more to this story. About my parents' involvement in all of this, and for those who are asking, here is the deal with my parents. When my sister came out to them, it was a mess. They were a-holes. They bought her a gift card to a Men's Warehouse and books about how to be a real man. Nice.
Okay, hey, that's not abrasive, right?
Not at all.
Cool.
Hey, how to be a man 101.
I just told you I'm not, though.
They purposely misgendered her, etc., etc. Now, this was only 2 years ago, mind you, so it's not really water under the bridge. Still fresh wounds here. My sister was obviously really hurt. I don't know all the details, but my parents ended up changing their tune pretty quickly. I don't know what caused it, but they apologized profusely, and my sister forgave them after a while. But since then, there is no getting them to weigh in on anything or talk to her about anything. It's sad and totally unfortunate, but I can't change how they're acting. It's best at this point to keep them out of it because I know if I approach them with any of this, they would just shrug. But you know what you can't shrug off?
What?
104 days.
Oh.
104 days of content that you could be listening to right now.
The math has been done, folks.
If you go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, any of your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime and just click play, we can be hanging out with you for 104 days straight,
just
nonstop.
Continuous.
Allegedly.
That's like basically a third of a year.
Dude, wait till we get to a year. We're adding numbers on the board. Like Sophia's just ticket face.
Dude, I mean, we're adding numbers every day.
It's just spilling out
every day,
everywhere. But we're almost done with this story. We don't really seem to be coming to a resolution at all.
I mean, I think, nothing's happening legally. It's more just like a weird thing you're gonna have to deal with, and I really do think maybe like a counseling session, like a group thing. I don't know. It sounds like there's some unresolved, like deeper, psychological things going on there.
See a counselor together.
Yeah, just to
sisters.
like get equal with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just feels like there's something being unsaid.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that a group counseling session will help get to why does the sister want OP's name? Because it's like there's a trillion names out there. Why specifically hers? I think answering that question will help them come to a resolution with this.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota, I told you he was always right.
No,
I told you he's always right.
It's the axolotl, guys.
It's me.
A shodel?
The shuttle.
What's the name? Dakota
I think it's like a shuttle.
A shuttle. Right.
Shuttle.
You said that,
shout out to the country of Mexico where these are mostly found,
dude,
I think.
Shout out to freaking Mexico.
Shout out to Mexico.
Shout out, man. Anyways, we're getting back to the story. The reason I'm being so patient and nice with her is because I am patient and nice with the people I love. It takes a lot more for me to get to that point, but once I do, I don't give up easily. I am not, as someone suggested, giving her a trans pass to go wherever she wants with no repercussions, to do whatever she wants with no repercussions. There it is. I've always been real with her, but I am also cautious about my words around people I love because in the past, my realness has resulted in me saying things that I didn't really mean. This might sound contrary to everything you know about my sister at this point, so you'll have to trust me. She is not one to be overly dramatic or use her identity challenges as a means to manipulate people. She's usually calm, cool, collected, freaking cool sis.
Yeah.
Okay. The current situation is very unlike her, which, just to put a bow on this, leads me back to what Dakota was saying. Go to a counseling session together. This is totally out of character, which to me means there's something going on under the surface, that this isn't just like, oh, like, I like the name. I feel like there's something more, and that you'll get closer as sisters by going into counseling.
Yeah,
together.
I think maybe the whole wow butt hurt much was maybe just her being defensive. Maybe just because not everyone can like logistically or feasibly make counseling happen. So if you can't do that, just try to have like a heart to heart deep talk. Just be like, I'm not coming to you in like a what's it called? Like an accusatory or like
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be neutral here. I just want to
Yes.
know why you need to have my name.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that is so non-negotiable at this point in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the necessity there? And then if she's still like, wow, but hurt much, then it's like, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell
If
you,
she
bro.
won't open up to you, she won't.
She won't do it.
So maybe, encourage her to find someone she can open up to. My mother and sister are manipulative, and people are finally seeing them for what they are.
Monsters!
Ah! Sorry, you scared me. Can you give me like a monster scream?
Ah!
No, like here, I'll do it.
Oh.
Bruh.
Oh.
Now we're both monsters. All right, we're going forward. Oh, and this came direct from OK Storytime.
Ooh-wee! This is from one of you guys.
I recently went on a 3-week vacation to 3 different locations, but the first stop was to attend my stepdad's wedding. There was plenty of drama in the wedding itself, but not important to this particular situation, and also too many relevant details that could be recognized if the wrong person sees it, so might try and write it out later if I can figure out how to write it more anonymously. By the way, this comes from user One Done Millennial on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, anyway, there are an unfortunate number of relevant characters. The ages are not exact to keep more vague, so grab a whiteboard. Oh boy.
Oh. Where is it?
Oh.
Where is it?
Oh.
All right. We literally don't have the whiteboards.
Why is it gone?
Oh, it's right there, but it has stuff on it. Imaginary whiteboard.
Dad, mid-60s. Dad's wife, April, late 60s. Mom, late 50s. Birth giver to all.
Wait, I missed
and
that this was one millennial.
uh-huh.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I know. Yeah.
Very cool.
There it is. The stepdad, late 50s. Oh my God. Older sister, Becca, mid 30s. Myself, mid 30s. Younger brother, Chad, mid 30s. Half brother, David, mid 20s. Half sister, Ellie, mid 20s.
Oh my God.
Chad's pregnant wife, Frida, late 20s. And Chad is the younger brother in his mid 30s. Chad's ex/my nephew's mom, Gina, late 20s. David's girlfriend, Helen, mid 20s. And important, mom currently lives in Europe, so is mostly a supporter these days to Becca's shenanigans, but will occasionally have her own little drama time. So, things started off fairly calm and normal the first couple of days. Got to spend one-on-one time with each of my half-siblings as I got to the States a little early to see my siblings that I almost never get to see living on the other side of the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized I had to do the same for Becca.
Older sister. Mid-30s.
I am a coward who still refuses to confront my sister and mom, preferring to act like everything is cool with the nod and smile technique to keep up appearances, especially before the wedding. I met her for lunch before the bachelorette and didn't take long for Becca to go into one of her many crazy tirades. I was surprised that among her normal rants about being parentified, but dad taking all the credit of being a good parent, that she started to criticize mom for the first time, while also defending her being a terrible mom. Defending her was nothing new, but never heard her say that mom was not a good parent before. Talking to my sister is always an interesting experience. She was not parentified. I did way more parenting than she did, and would even have family friends, aka mom and Becca's friends, that would come up to me and literally tell me, "Don't tell Becca, but you are so much more mature. You act so much like the big sister. I sometimes forget that you aren't the oldest."
That must feel good.
You must be like, "Ooh, who's that? Ooh, it's me, the best one."
Ooh.
Ooh. Stop. Just stop. But keep going. But
Keep
stop.
it coming.
Anyways, made it through lunch and we go our separate ways so I could ship the OK Storytime, the package that I'd been trying to ship for months, which I think I know which one that one was, and get ready for the bachelorette. When Becca finally showed up, she brought Helen with her, which was my first time meeting her. And who is Helen?
Nah.
Is a half sibling, right?
Helen.
Do we not have Helen?
Helen, David's girlfriend.
David's girlfriend.
And David is the half brother.
David's girlfriend, Helen, half brother David. I didn't get much chance to talk to Helen at the bachelorette, but Becca managed to start ranting about something that made my ears perk up. She started talking crap about Frida, about how she was parenting my nephew all wrong and how they keep their house such a mess.
His pregnant wife, Chad, is the younger brother. This
Yes.
is sister-in-law, Frida.
Not the ex, but
No.
the current.
Current wife, Frida.
I immediately knew something wasn't right because Becca doesn't actually give two craps about Chad's family outside of appearances. So I suspected my mom must have started the crap talk train because Frida probably put up a boundary and mom didn't like it. I would later learn that my hunch was correct. Look at you on those good hunches. The wedding activities and drama continued when the two families met up for family game night
Oh, no.
the night before the wedding.
You had a family game night the night before a wedding?
I mean, hey, it's a good time for the families to all commingle
That's
and
low-key
such.
cray-cray.
Yeah,
That's
I'm here
low-key
for it.
cray-cray. I love that. I want to do that. But it's cray-cray.
we'll do it. We'll play
gonna do it.
spoons. Helen and I ended up staying a little later than the rest of my siblings and their families, so we ended up being the only two in the car ride back to where we were staying. I sensed there was a topic Helen was kind of dancing around with me as I was trying to get to know her for the first time, talking families. And as we were pulling up to where we were all staying, I turned to her and said, quote, "I'm going to be super blunt. I hate my mom and Becca." Ooh, the direct approach. I immediately braced for the worst, as most people I have confided this to that have met my mom and or Becca other than my dad and April have responded with, "But they're the nicest, sweetest, most caring people in the whole wide universe. How could you not like them?" To my absolute shock, she was ecstatic and said, "Me too."
You found a friend!
Yay!
Lovely.
I was so happy I hugged her. In over 30 years of dealing with their BS, this was the first person besides my dad or April that saw through the BS with me. Not even my stepdad will admit to it. We ended up talking for like 30 minutes in the car about the BS my mom and Becca had been putting her through before going in. Her stories were especially weird since she was dating David, who happened to be my mom's favorite golden child, whom she called about 3 times a day from Europe to complain about, guess who? The other siblings. Helen said she often needed to leave the room when my mom would call David. The next morning, I got a chance to chat with Frida for the first time that trip, which was actually our second real conversation since she met my brother 5 years ago. Give me a break. I live far away, and neither Chad or I are good at communication. ASD and ADHD for the win. Oh, hey, nice. I mentioned my conversation with Helen the night before, and next thing I know, Frida is backing everything and adding her own stories. I had another ally.
You're rallying the troops.
Magnificent.
That must be like, one dumb millennial is saying it, but like that must be so kind of vindicating.
Oh, it's got to sound
To,
like
like,
the and the angels sang, and
You're
it's like
yes. Yeah. Opie's like, oh, I really don't like my parents, and everyone's like, yeah, your mom sucks, and your sister sucks too. That's great. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, you found the one. I could not believe that in less than 24 hours, I had found 2 people that saw my mom and Becca for who they truly are. I took a risk and told Frida what Becca had been saying at the Bachelorette. She was floored and couldn't believe Becca would say that. I assured both Frida and Helen that if they ever need someone to crap talk about my mom or Becca, I was all ears. We all ended up going out to eat for lunch before the wedding.
Love that.
And things were fine
Sometimes.
at first.
Oh,
Okay,
dang it.
here we are. I'm going to tentatively stick my toe into the rest of the story here.
All right, keep it coming. Better be happy.
So, sweet Ellie,
Ellie, half sister.
half-sister sweet Ellie, is moving across the states with her boyfriend after the wedding and stays well out of 90% of most family drama somehow. But the rest of the family, Becca, just cannot have a drama-free meal. It gets brought up that I paid for Chad, Frida, and my nephew to fly with me to a different state to visit our dad and April. I used the excuse that I didn't have enough money to take everyone else, texted Frida I just didn't want her to come, but she makes the comment of how she has money and could have paid for herself because she wasn't broke like these a-holes. Thank God Chad and Frida have sharper wits or are just more used to the BS than me because I was stunned. Chad snaps back with, "Yeah, it takes a lot of work to be this poor." With Frida backing, we work hard at it. Frida, Chad, and I are all looking at each other confused because Becca hates our dad, especially April. So why would she want to spend a week with them? April has even flat out stated that Becca is not welcome in their home. So why do you want to go other than to make problems?
Yeah, she just wants drama. She said she wants dinner and a show. And that's it. Becca's just there. She goes to places and she starts something.
Yes, she goes to places and she makes them worse.
Yes.
That's her pastime.
That's her pastime. That's her favorite thing to do.
So my theory is Becca wanted the opportunity to turn down the offer so that she could be some kind of martyr. We all went back to get ready for the wedding and it continued full of drama. But the biggest drama managed to happen to the side of the wedding when Becca approached Chad and Frida about taking back her rescue dog that she had adopted 4 years ago. She decided it was too much work, a pattern for Becca. I ended up with so many extra pets thanks to her because otherwise she would have unalived them. And I still have nightmares about that. So she gave it to them. However, Becca now wanted the dog back because her partner's dog was getting old. So they wanted a younger dog to keep it company. My nephew has pretty severe ASD and is very attached to this dog that is being discussed, but you can't flat out say no to Becca or things get ugly. So they were hemming and hawing about why it wasn't a good idea and delaying, blah, blah, blah. I, unfortunately, had not been privy to the conversation or the background until much later. Thank God, or I might have broken family tradition and actually confronted Becca this time, which probably would have ended with police. And that would have not been good for the rest of my trip and returning to China.
No, that wouldn't have been good.
No, usually when the police get involved, it doesn't
pretty
make
bad.
things much better.
Maybe we can call the police on Becca.
Yeah, they call the police. There's a woman we'd like her removed.
And she's like, hey, why didn't you invite me
Yes.
to... I don't have a joke for
We
that.
invited
This
you
makes
to
sense.
jail.
There we go. That's what the joke
There
was
we
trying
go.
to do. I
Her
have
name starts with B, and she is one. It's Becca.
I'm hanging a
Your
little bit.
subtitle there was exasperated sigh. That was your subtitle.
Thanks.
After the wedding, Chad and family went with me to see our dad. It was a really great trip all around where I really got to know my sister-in-law and nephew for the first time. It was during that time I found out that Chad had also woken up to Mom and Becca's BS about 5 years after I had almost a decade ago. In therapy after I attempted to remove myself from this plane. Twice. Whoops. Well, at least you got a sense of humor about it a little bit. We ended up swapping so many stories about crap Mom and Becca have pulled, especially around Christmas time, and them trying to get Frida to prioritize my mom over her own family, but one story really stood out to me. I actually heard the story first from Becca at the bachelorette party about how my nephew was still wetting the bed. She had taken him for the night, but no one had warned her or given her any pull-ups for her to use, so she was very upset when he peed in the bed. What she left out was that she had taken my nephew from Gina's house without telling Chad or Frida that she had taken him. She basically kidnapped my nephew and then got mad that no one told her that he would wet the bed.
What?
First of all, actual jail.
Actual call the police.
Actual call the police.
Actually
Actual
call
jail.
them.
Not funny
What?
haha jail. Actual jail.
That doesn't even make sense. She's
Becca
like,
stole a child.
yeah. They're
That's
like,
not
hey,
hers.
where's our child? And she's like, I can't believe this. Why did no one tell me he would wet the bed? It's like, we didn't know you were taking the child.
Well, how do I steal your child and tell you about it?
It's like,
Come on, guys. Use your
brain.
brain.
Ugh.
Nah, come on. I still can't believe they let Gina in my nephew's life after what she put Chad and my nephew through, but she is supposedly better. But none of the stories they told me made it seem that way. Apparently, it was a regular thing for Gina to not inform them when a random person would take my nephew.
And Gina is Chad's ex.
Gina is Chad's ex. And when I pointed it out to Frida and Chad, they sighed and told me that it is because my mom and Becca think that Gina is a better mom than Frida, and they're so happy that she's my nephew's mom. This woman left my nephew alone in a pee-soaked crib for 12 hours a day while Chad was having mental breakdowns from her cheating on him. Send Gina into the black hole.
Literally into the black hole.
Yes. Give her a
Jesus.
number 14.
You can also send her to jail.
And to jail for neglect.
Yeah.
Jail.
Oh my God.
The only reason Gina never gave up her parental rights was because her mom stopped her from doing so. My mom also has started telling my nephew that he is her favorite. So Frida said she can't say that when the baby gets here. So she switched it to, you are my favorite grandson, And then, you are the first. You are so special. It is true that he is her first, and till now only, grandchild. Still not a great thing to get in his head. On the last day with Dad and April, I ended up spending some time talking with April one-on-one and opened up to her about some stories from our childhood of what Mom and Becca had done. She was flabbergasted and asked why I still talk to them. Why do I still visit them? And I think my answer is the same as most abused children. I can't explain it. It's complicated. I'm trying to work towards that. I'm currently very low contact with them, though not sure they notice, as I like to use the excuse of living in China to avoid them. It's like my shield that I hide behind. I did go to see my mom in Europe for a bit before coming back to China, and she was mostly well behaved. I like to think keeping her busy in a foreign country was responsible to keeping her on her best behavior, because the one lazy morning we had, she went off a little. Fortunately, not too bad, though. Just about my taste in YouTubers. Oh, really? Well, then,
Went off a
then
little, but not
we've
too
got beef with your mom,
Yeah.
because your taste in YouTubers is immaculate.
Yeah.
Because you
so-
follow us.
Exactly.
I want to let you all know that you can listen to full episodes with stories like these. All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from and search OK Storytime. There you will find the complete archive. There's no Obi-Wan in there. The archive is not incomplete. It is full. And yeah, I'm going to say before we finish this story off, I don't think you should feel bad or guilty about any of your decisions regarding cutting contact with these people or keeping it low. Terrible. I'm glad that you found your compatriot to rag
you
on
got
Becca and your mom with.
You got 2 people that support you.
Yeah.
And actually about 3 people because you got Chad too.
Yeah, you got
And you have your
got
dad
Chad
and your
Frida,
mom, so
and
that's
you've got
5
your
people.
dad and April.
I mean, your dad and your stepmom.
I think that's it.
I think you're set.
I
Just
think
don't,
you're
yeah,
on
don't
the
invite
right
Becca
track.
to anything.
Becca sucks. You are right to not like Becca. Anyways, in a single trip, I managed to double the people that know my mom and Becca, but still see through their BS. I call this an absolute win. When Frida said that Ellie and I were the ones that made her feel most welcomed in the family, I almost
Aw.
cried. Maybe with more people banding together, like Chad, Frida, Helen, April, Dad, and myself, maybe we can finally have a true confrontation with our abusers and be free at last. Who knows? One can dream. If you got this far, holy crap, thank you. Sorry for tipsy rambling. Hey,
It happens.
don't apologize,
Never
one
apologize
dumb
for
millennial.
that. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you
And
for
if you guys wanna
sharing.
share your
And we're
stories,
glad
we'll read them.
that, you can escape to China and use it as a shield.
I agree.
We all need our shield. We all need a shield the size and shape of China to protect us from
Oh.
people we don't want to talk to in our lives.
There's a lot of people I don't want to talk
It's
to.
a big shield. I wish I could have a shield the size of China.
Yeah.
I can no longer tolerate my sister's insults, so I put my foot down.
2 feet down, 1 thumbs up.
Make that 2. My 23 male, younger sister, 15 female, is currently in her phase where she thinks she's the most unique and special person in the world. Because of this, she's also developed some sort of superiority complex against other people's hobbies, especially if she doesn't like them. By the way, this comes from user Majestic Advantage 0 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, the problem started when she started using the word incel to insult me and my hobbies out of nowhere. She seemed to notice that this word hurts and disturbs me, so she keeps calling me an incel just to elicit a reaction from me. I'm playing a video game? I'm an incel. I'm watching anime. I'm an incel. I'm building a Gundam. I'm an incel. I've talked to her about it and asked her if she knows the meaning. She knows it perfectly well, and she thinks I fit the description.
Bro, this is just a sibling story. This is just literally like how my sister and I'm like, shut up.
I asked her why she thinks this, and she just tells me that she, quote, just knows that I'm an incel. Because of that, I've been ignoring her. This seems to piss her off because she began to annoy me on a whole nother level, such as pulling my headphones off just to call me an incel, and even just using incel as a general nickname for me. I talked to my parents last night and told them that if they don't do anything about her behavior towards me, then I will move out of the house. My dad and I pay 50-50 for everything because his salary alone can't sustain all the bills. My mom is a volunteer worker in an animal shelter and refuses to seek a job because we come from a culture where men are expected to be the sole providers. My mom justifies my sister's behavior as just being a typical teenager and is begging me to be more understanding because I'm the older and more mature one. My dad, on the other hand, knew that I was serious and agreed that they need to punish my sister. I don't like ultimatums, but I feel like I don't have any other choices anymore. I don't want to yell at my sister or even fight with her because I know that it will simply make her attitude worse towards me. Shortly after I gave my ultimatum, my dad punished my sister by taking away everything that I paid for her, like her laptop, her phone, her PC, and her Switch. He told her that, quote, "This is your life without your brother," and basically stored them away somewhere that even I don't know where they are. Since then, my sister became even more aggressive towards me. She calls me daddy's boy, snitch, coward, and many other names whenever we pass by each other, both in public and at home. She even started to throw things at me unprovoked, even when I'm not looking. And in parentheses, they were soft things like towels, socks, stuffed toys, or handkerchiefs, but still. My mom keeps making excuses for her and even freaking consoled her when she was crying over her things being taken away. That was when I fully realized and accepted that she was mom's favorite. When I finally told my dad that I wanted to move out, he was understanding. He kept apologizing to me for not doing anything earlier because he was always at work. He's now making up to me by helping me look for an affordable renting space. My mom, on the other hand, didn't take it very well. She's extremely cold to me now. She told me that I'm abandoning her. According to my dad, she cries every night because she can't accept the fact that I'm moving out. Yeesh. For now, I'm temporarily staying with a kind friend. My dad encouraged me to detach myself from my mom and my sister as soon as possible when I told him that she started to throw stuff at me. But by the way, I want you to throw yourself over to our live streams when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Just tap our profile and you're in. And you know what? If you're watching this in the future, we might be live right this very moment. But before you go check on that, let's collect our thoughts before we finish this story. I don't know if I really support anyone's perspective in this.
All
in this
perspectives
story.
are like as a family whole. I mean, how old enough?
OP's 23.
Okay, so what?
Sister is 15.
You can move out. You can
Parents
move
are in
out.
their 50s.
Yeah, you can move out. I don't see their perspective of you moving out as a bad thing. Great, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want. You don't need to deal with your little sister being a little annoying to you.
However, I feel like moving out specifically because you're like, my sister is menacing me. That, I don't know. I think you have...
I want you to say it out loud. I moved out of the house because my sister is torturing me.
Like, it'd be different if she was like a grown woman. A 15-year-old is about to bully you out of your own living situation.
Again, is she gonna make fun of you all the entirety of your life?
At some point, look, you're not 15. If you were 15, I'd be like, all right, we're not fully developed yet. We're not emotionally matured yet. We don't know how to deal with this stuff. You're 23. I'm trying to think of a way to put this delicately that doesn't sound mean, but it's like...
You're kind of being a pushover right now.
Exactly.
You're letting her win because guess what? The sibling is getting you out of the house. She's winning because she's getting under your skin, and she may be sad because she got her stuff taken away, but guess what? She won.
So now she's learned that this behavior can get her exactly what she wants. If she wants someone to go away, she can bully them into, non-existence. Dad telling you that it's okay to move out because she threw socks at you.
Bro.
I don't agree with the mom taking her side and saying that you just literally have to deal with it. Somebody here needs to be like, why don't you why don't you snap back a little bit? I don't know though. It's hard. Like the only person who's really truly tapped into this dynamic is OP and I guess his sister. I don't think I would be having any sort of relationship with my mom or my sister anytime in the future. I do feel really bad for my dad for having to deal with my mom and my sister alone. Thank you for the kind comments in my original post. This is probably the last time that I'll talk about this issue. And we do have some relevant comments. Can you ask your dad for the stuff you paid for so you can sell it? I told my dad that he can give back the things I bought for her only if she shows real remorse or genuinely apologizes to me. If nothing changes by January 1st, then I might take you up on your advice and just keep everything to myself or sell them. My dad's being a real champ right now for wanting to pay for the first 2 months worth of rent, despite me telling him that he doesn't need to. I have my own savings after all. He feels really guilty for not being able to notice my sister's behavior towards me for so long. and he thinks that it's the least he could do for me. Your dad needs a divorce. OP responds, I'd be happy if he could, but unfortunately, divorce isn't legal in the Philippines, so he's basically stuck with my mom for the remainder of his life.
Shout out to the Philippines. Wow. I already have cousins who are like this.
That sucks. Wow, how is that?
Oh, but yeah, the Philippines sucks.
I would never get married in the Philippines.
The
then.
regulations in the Philippines are brutal.
You crazy? That's wild.
But shout out to Filipinos. Salamat.
In response to a now deleted comment, the following 2 comments provide some more information on OP, which is why I'm including them even though they are in response to heavily downvoted comments. I live in the Philippines where even up to 5 generations of families live under one roof. In fact, it's expected for children to take care of and financially support their parents and their grandparents as soon as they have their own jobs. Therefore, me living with my parents at my age is the most normal thing for me in my culture. And I don't pay rent. It's our house. I don't rent there. I pay for all the bills since I have a bigger salary than my dad, while my dad buys all the groceries. My mom doesn't work and she doesn't want to. I still respect my mom despite her obvious favoritism towards my sister. She's still my mother after all. My sister, not anymore. Also, I truly hope you have a very sophisticated, manly, and adult-like hobbies because you keep insulting the things I like to do. Well, why are people getting so mean with OP? He's already getting it from his sister. Why do you gotta be mean to OP, guys?
He's like, oh, dude, you like Gundam and you like anime?
So, one last comment from OP in response to a deleted comment. I'm a teacher, so teenagers being pieces of crap every day are normal to me. However, I don't want the same behavior in my own home. I don't want to deal with the same teenage tantrums that I've been dealing with at work, especially when I'm trying to rest or just minding my own business. So I guess that kind of pokes a hole in our, like, you should prank her plan because
The eye for an eye thing is, I get it.
because OP just wants peace and tranquility.
It's the eye for eye thing, but you need to also just...
Well, it's not even an eye for an eye. I don't think putting Post-it notes in her bathroom is tantamount to calling her an incel. You know, that's like she's truly trying to demean him at that point. At school, I have some sort of authority over the teens that I'm handling. I can call their parents, the guidance counselor, or anyone who can correct their behavior, but at home, I don't have that same authority. I'm just her brother. I can't force her to behave, and my mom doesn't do anything to correct her behavior either. I've had a heart-to-heart talk with my mom, and she thinks that my sister is innocent. She thinks that my sister is just joking. She genuinely doesn't think that she needs to discipline my sister. I get that siblings being annoying is normal. However, my sister, as well as many other teenagers, are old enough to know that her actions have consequences. Not only that, but her words can ruin me and my career. I work at the same school my sister is enrolled in. Ooh, that changes a lot. Now, I'm considering transferring to another school, which I would definitely recommend. That's so messy. What if she calls me an incel in front of my students? Then you're screwed, buddy. I'll say that right now. What if she spreads false rumors about me abusing her if I ever discipline her? That's where I'd be more worried. What if she tells people, what if she just spreads really devastating, horrible rumors about me? How many years does my sister have left at this school? Thankfully, she's only here until May, June, until she has to move to a different school for senior high. Despite the small time frame, I'm still considering being transferred to another school. No, I wouldn't transfer at that point. I thought she'd be there longer.
I'm pretty sure she's cognizant of not to do that, though. I think she just wants to tease you at home. Maybe she's just trying to hang out with you.
But that is the end of this story.
I married a man-child with baby mama drama and dragged my sister into it. Well, drag yourself out of there. Please, please. Strap in, folks. Grab a beverage and a snack and hold on to your butts. It's a long one and a doozy. This is me holding on to your butts.
I'm holding on to all your butts. They're
on.
mine. Your butts are mine.
A little backstory for you. I, 45 female, got married to someone I shouldn't have. My bad. And I literally chastise myself every day for it. By the way, this comes from Simone's Treasures. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We will call him Aaron, 44 male. We were friends in college and reconnected years later. He was charming, handsome, had a good job, and I thought had a good head on his shoulder. Unfortunately, Aaron came with a lot of baggage. To be fair, at his age, we all do, as we have both been married before and have children. I have a 15-year-old female, and his is 4-year-old female. So please know that I am not knocking that. But the problem right away was his baby mama, we'll call her Connie, and she is bad crap crazy. And I'm not talking about someone who has good and bad days. I'm talking about someone who should be locked in a padded room. I flat out told Aaron that if she brought me into it, I wouldn't back down like he had basically the whole time they had been apart. That was red flag number 1.
Ooh.
They were never married. She told him she couldn't get pregnant, like she told the father of her other 2 children before this one. PSA, wrap your tool. So I started asking myself, do I really want to deal with this for another 14 years? I had previously told myself I was not going to get involved with anyone who had small children, my own red flag, lol. But because of who I thought he was and how he assured me everything would be just fine, I decided I could deal with it. We got engaged in February 2024 and he wanted us to get married pretty quickly. Red flag number 2. I actually wanted to wait until at least the fall. He wanted June. He said that way we could work on selling my house since he lived in the neighboring state, 30 miles away. He said it would be better for me to sell and use the money I made on the house to pay off debt, etc., which sounded good to me since I was struggling financially, and he knew that. He knows I'm hyper independent and won't ask for help. However, I did bring up the fact that my house is almost twice as big, and with our animals, I have a dog and 2 cats. While he has 2 dogs, I would have to uproot my daughter while his child wasn't even in school yet. Keep in mind, there aren't any stipulations about distance in their court agreement, so he could easily move, as could I. But of course, he had an excuse for that. Red flag number 3.
Oh no.
After going rounds about it, I gave in. Dang it. Again, I pushed aside the flag because of who I thought Aaron was. So we set the date. My family, including my sister, 41 female, Daphne, thought it was a bit quick, but they had grown to like him and supported us. As we crept closer to the date and Connie found out, via his oldest daughter, 21, from a previous relationship, seriously, dudes, wrap your tool. You hear that, everyone? We got 2 warnings now.
That's 2 warnings. If we get to a 3rd one, you're going to prison.
Whoa. Things started to seem a little off. Connie started making absurd accusations against Aaron and thus began a heated custody battle. While that was starting, our wedding came and went in June. Everything was fine. My house wasn't selling and we were still living separately because I didn't want to pay for something I wasn't living in, as well as drive twice as far to get to work, appointments. Like I said, I was struggling financially, which he knew, and he knew I wouldn't outright ask for help, and he makes almost 3 times what I do. Not once did he offer to help me financially. He did, however, give me $800 of the $1,400 we received from our wedding to pay for tires for my vehicle. Not his money, though. Red flag. Number 4. Of course, some would argue that I should have just moved and left my house empty, but my gut told me not to. Now, here comes August. Aaron tried to keep me out of the custody stuff as much as possible until Connie tried to bring me into it by having her equally psycho guardian ad litem order a psych evaluation for me at $10,000. What? Aaron had to get one as well as Connie, but for some reason, I was named a party in this. Funny, considering Connie always said that she had no idea who I was, yet she named me in a document, as well as blocked me on social media. Aaron said that he would pay for it, and this and that. Again, not standing up to Connie.
Wait, I'm
Red
confused.
flag number 5.
Is Connie paying the $10,000 or is she making them pay the $10,000 to get a psych evaluation?
It sounds like OP would have to pay the $10,000.
That makes 0 sense.
Yeah,
You
I don't
could just
know.
be like, that person needs a psych eval and they have to pay for it.
Right. So that's red flag number 5. I said, nope. I told him I am not the little one's mother or guardian and should not be pulled into this. Keep in mind, I was actually out of state at this time on a mini vacation with my daughter because I was so stressed out. I told him he better fix it and tell them no or I'm out. So he did, which was good. And I think it was the first time he had ever pushed back on her in almost 4 years. A couple of months go by and my house still hasn't sold. The custody battle was getting uglier by the day and I was at the point where I couldn't handle the drama anymore or the red flags I had pushed aside. I decided to express my feelings to Aaron and he basically told me to it up and be a good wife and mother. Ooh, oh boy. Oh boy.
Stop not looking at the red flags.
He followed up by asking what I could do to make my husband happy. Literally the words he said to me.
Wait, Aaron was like, well, maybe you should be asking what you can do to make your husband happy. Or was someone else saying that?
I think that might be what it is. Or he's saying like, what could you do to make your husband happy? Yeah, or just maybe he's just like, ask yourself what you could do to make your husband
Ask yourself how you can
Go look in the mirror and say, self,
self.
what can I do?
What can I do to help my husband today?
That's absolutely crazy. Aaron would always say I could come to him and lean on him for anything. That day, he proved that that was not the case. He was not a safe place for me, and he never would.
Final red flag. So I decided this was not going to be something we could work through like others urged me to do. The drama would never stop, and I am too old to wait around to see if it got better, both with the baby mama drama and with Aaron. Aaron had the nerve to suggest that I give it a couple of months and get into therapy to see if it would change my mind. What? Apparently, he didn't like that I stood up for myself, so I said, heck no.
Leave him.
Then he reached out to my brother-in-law and sister, telling them I was texting all these guys that he spent so much money on me and that he had fixed up my entire house. All lies. For one, he didn't help me when I needed it. 2, I paid for about 80% of the wedding and the honeymoon. And 3, he helped me paint 3 rooms in my 2,800 square foot house. I had previously painted everything a year before I reconnected him. Final nail in the coffin. I later heard from his first ex-wife that he had tried to do a similar thing to her and her family, labeling her as crazy and greedy.
Will he try to do this to Connie or someone else?
His
Connie
first
is one of his exes,
ex-wife.
right?
Yes.
Okay. But he has
But
another
this is
one.
the first ex-wife. I think Connie's the most recent one.
Oh, how many ex-wives? Okay,
It's just
that was another
racking
red
up.
flag. If you've got like 3 ex-wives,
Yeah,
that's too many ex-wives.
That's kind of hard. I think also too, if you're dating someone and they're just like, oh my god, like my ex was just crazy.
I think it's more so like when you say all of your exes were crazy.
Yeah. Now the texting all these guys thing is most definitely not true, but this is where my sister goes off on me. I have kept in contact with a male friend, gasp, for the last few years. Long story short, we were friends and I wanted more, but he wasn't in a position to do so. Cool. But we remain friends as he trusts me with his life. I have always had male friends just like Aaron has always had female friends. When he was in the military, he served with several females and still talks to them occasionally. Even the one he said he may have knocked up. Shaking my head. Cool. Now, Daphne doesn't think that's okay, as does some other people, I'm sure. But she's a very insecure person and it isn't her life. She doesn't even want her husband to watch movies that have hot girls in them. Serious.
Okay, that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
That's where I draw the line. What am I supposed to watch?
I can't watch my anime anymore?
I can't watch anything. You tell me I can't watch Arcane?
I can't watch Arcane.
Get out of here, you sick
on.
frick.
So you telling me I can't watch The Golden Girls? What the heck?
Daphne confronted me about it and said I was deceiving everyone, especially Aaron, for talking to this person. I said I will not ever give up a friend who trusts me with their life journey because Aaron would be furious if I did that to him, and quite frankly, I'm not deceiving anyone. He knew about it, and I'm pretty sure it's none of anyone else's business. I don't sit and pester Aaron about who he's texting because I'm pretty secure with things. Daphne says she loves me and only wants the best for me, but she's keeping me at arm's length because she thinks that my friend was the reason I wanted a divorce. Remember that Aaron got into their heads and they took his side before they knew I was in contact with the friends, and not mine. They tend to drink Kool-Aid whenever anyone says anything. I even went so far as to send her screenshots of conversations I've had with Aaron, showing him belittling me and ordering me around. I kept telling Daphne me deciding to divorce was truly because we weren't right for each other and he wasn't the man he painted for me in the beginning.
Also, like, why does it matter what Daphne thinks, you know?
Yeah, who is Daphne
Who is
again?
Also, who is Daphne? So, meaning that she literally has no relevance to your decision making.
Yeah, just because I forgot
Yeah,
her means
she doesn't
that
exist.
you should too.
Exactly.
And she should be happy for me figuring that out now instead of years down the road after my house is gone. My mental health is failing and I have to start over. She has continued to keep me at arm's length because I did the best thing for my daughter. And all she can fixate on is I was still friends with someone. Again, none of her business. My mom wants us to sit down and hash it out. I said I'm not going to do that because Daphne already has a preconceived idea of me in her head instead of listening to the truth. And it would be like talking to a brick wall. Now, am I the a-hole for doing what is best for me and for my own reasons and not giving a hoot about what my sister thinks because it's none of her business and we have
It's
her
a
answer?
sister.
Daphne's the sister. I
Shut
have my
your mouth,
suspicions.
sister.
My lazy sister refuses to take responsibility, but I refuse to let her ignore my boundaries.
Ah, see, 2 refusals cancel out.
My 33 female younger sister, 32 female, is extremely entitled, and it comes to a point where I don't want to deal with her behavior, but I'm unsure of how to move forward. By the way, this comes from Burnt Out Nurse. And if you want to burn out all those stories, go to our okay story time and freaking get him out of here.
Yeah.
Send him.
Yep.
So, to start, my sister is the baby in the family and has always been a bit coddled by everyone on my maternal side, including myself. We don't interact with my paternal side due to geographic distance, and they're not very kind people, but that's its own issue. When I say baby, I mean if she was nervous about anything, everyone did what they could to fix it for her. For example, in high school, the first day having to find your new classroom, well, I was expected to tell her where to go, what to expect, so that way she would have no surprises. College grades failing due to depression, and now a letter needs to be submitted to continue academics at the university. Well, her big sister can write it for her since she's too depressed to do it. Oh no. Another example, volunteered my mother and doing it because I know my sister won't if she doesn't feel like it.
Sorry, just seeing that.
Me and Keon laughed at the same time because it was the same brand of dumb.
Yeah, there was an I missing in that word.
I will say really
Critical eye.
quick here, showing your sibling around like the school you already went to, not an out-of-pocket request.
Yes.
Helping your sister who's in like a depressive episode write a very important letter that she can't figure out how to write. Really, also not that out of pocket.
I think it could be doable, but I guess it's like if it's $1 million, if that's the straw that broke the camel's back, and then also too, this is your university, you know, and
There's time left for things to get crazy,
We
but
can see.
nothing absurd has been asked of OP.
You know what? I think that's fair take. I think it's fair take. Parents getting remarried and moving, so my youngest can't live in the new house anymore. Well, they let her live in my step-parents' mobile home rent-free, covered by my mom, and they will just live in the new home. When I finished school, I did pay them enough for a lot of rent and utilities, okay? Just one thing after another. Now, don't get me wrong. She's not some evil, mean person, and only her views are real. She can be thoughtful and helpful as long as she's not inconvenienced. If she doesn't want to do something, well, then it's not her problem, and everyone else is the problem for trying to impose on her freedom, and everyone is trying to control her. And if you were wondering, I think I'm close to understanding, but can you give me something to make the picture more clear? Dakota, we have maybe not just one example, but maybe another string of examples. So you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
So, example, sister has very sporadic employment in an old car. We thought the car was about to break down and offered her, me and my mom, to give her $10,000, no strings attached, to purchase a similar vehicle because it would get good gas mileage and last a long time as well. Was she grateful? No. No. She was upset that we would designate which vehicle the money would go to and that we were trying to control her. Extra details for context. She has a 2006 Prius. The converter and gas tank both broke, and we wanted to get her another one for now. After getting a paying job that lasts longer than 6 months, she could trade it in and do whatever she wants for a new vehicle. No, we're wrong. She wanted a new, brand spanking new Ford Bronco. At least brand new, I think. She doesn't do any off-roading activities that require an SUV, by the way. She can barely afford gas or mechanic bills, and we explained that was influencing our recommendation.
So really quickly, just
Yes.
want to let y'all know,
Please.
that's so terrible. 10K is not good enough for you, huh? 10K is an insult.
Earlier examples like, maybe you're being too harsh, but now with this example do you think OP's being too harsh now?
Well, I think now they're kind of like, it's kind of almost apples and oranges, I feel like, because this is like a financial thing, and the other thing was it's like, I'm expected to do everything for my sister or whatever, right? That was the vibe, right? Where it's like, I have
gets
to
everything.
show
She's
her
entitled.
around, and I have to write
She's
the letter,
entitled.
and it's like, well, now that the sister's like, oh, gross, you guys think you could just tell me what car to get when you give me $10,000, no strings attached, that I can just use for a brand new car? It's like, oh yeah, no, the sister does probably suck a lot more than whatever OP's like.
Yeah.
It was probably just the way it was typed was
We need some better
it
examples.
was negative. There was some negativity
Yeah,
bias in there. I could
that's true.
sense it, and it's probably coming from stuff like this.
That could be true. Well, Opie says we didn't want to get stuck lending/giving money for gas or paying monthly loan bills so that our money was lost to a repossession, since that cost would be more than $20,000 more for that car, and she likely wouldn't be able to keep up with the payments. So guys. Come on. That it does sound like not a good situation. In the end, we decided to not gift her the money, and her current vehicle is working for now. When it all goes, she'll have to figure out how to get her own transportation solution. Whew. So my biggest issue and pet peeve at the time is that my sister is a lazy and messy person, and I am a tight booty on cleaning and organizing. I'm not going to explain that. You just take the censorship. We are total opposites. When I purchased my home, I spent the money to turn my completed basement into a 2-bedroom apartment with a kitchen and bathroom, and even a separate entrance if wanted. She didn't use it. She walks through my front door each time. She paid no rent for 3 years.
That's your. Why are you letting her get away with that?
That's true.
You.
But you got to evict the sister.
Your house,
That's a
your
tough one.
rules.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Make her pay rent.
Until recently, I got so overwhelmed with the financial obligations on me, also being out of work due to a back injury at work, I gave 3 months notice and endured several arguments saying she pays or she moves.
I think that's it. I think you're either paying or you get out.
So now she pays $500 for her space with all utilities included. Dude, for a 2-bedroom basement apartment, if I'm understanding what Opie's saying correctly.
And I guarantee you she's going to be like, I'll pay it just because I love you, but this is ridiculous.
I have to pay so much. Like, can you okay, I'll pay you $500, but just give me that 10 grand again so I can
yeah.
get in a car.
It's like, can this $500 go towards a car, please?
Yeah.
It's like,
now this type of arrangement is about 3 times more in my area, so she's getting a deal. So she should be paying $1,500 a month, which that sounds accurate. Her living location does help me out because I have a dog and 2 cats. She has 1 cat, and she watches them while I work as I am a travel nurse. To make her life easier with this setup, I bought 2 cat robot litter cleaners and have pet food delivered to my door and fenced in my backyard. But now to the issue. We haven't even gotten to the issue yet. She keeps the area so messy that it spills into areas like the garage, laundry room, yes, my living room, and my kitchen because she walks through my first floor to get to the basement, despite there being having her own door. And the smell can spread if she doesn't remove the garbage in the basement. Oh boy. I probably deep clean my home once a week. Wow.
you mean clean or deep clean?
She said deep clean. That is, OP might have her own issues, but we're gonna gloss over that right now.
Deep clean.
I'm very clean. Maybe deep clean every week. That's maybe OCD.
We might be approaching that territory. And this includes other shared areas like the outdoor area too. My sister basically refuses to help and or says that I didn't ask her for help, so it's not her fault she's not helping. You didn't even freaking ask me, bro. Recently, we've been pet sitting my mom's dog, and of course, there's been a lot more cleanup required. She's a puppy and chews everything. If I say something like, go clean that, put the plant there, she'll do it. I hate this communication style. It feels so bossy, but anything else and she won't do it. Yeah, it's like, could you please do this? And she's like, well, you said please. You didn't say you have to do it. I'm sorry.
It's like you were polite, so I felt like I could ignore you.
Yeah. Be mean. Other times, she ignores something that needs to be done, even if she's looking straight at it, and it's an issue/mess. More examples. My mom's dog digs in my garden and then brings her muddy paws in and jumps over all the walls and furniture.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We love that.
Now I'm starting to see why the deep clean might be happening every week.
Oh, true.
Muddy dog ruining the walls and furniture.
That's not good. That needs to be cleaned. I've had plants destroyed and had to clean up the dirt so many times, and my sister would say, it's no big deal. It doesn't even need to be done at all. Example, again, sweeping the dirt, mopping the floor, washing the dirt off the wall, etc. So I've told my sister going forward that if she puts the dog in the backyard and doesn't watch her to keep her out of the mud and garden boxes, well, then she has to fix the mess and repot the plants. Fair?
Hey, look, it's consequences for things.
This is true.
Wow.
Well, then she's suddenly more thoughtful about when she lets the dog outside rather than just opening the door and walking away. Oh my God. Wow. Who'd have thunk it?
Who knew you had to take care of the animals that you take care of? That's crazy.
No, they're AI. They do it themselves. Doesn't work like that.
My dog has thumbs. He can take care of himself.
And I know it's because she doesn't want to clean up the mess. But, the mess she told me wasn't a big deal. I'm so tired of this interaction, and I've brought up that she will need to move out if things don't change. Of course, I'm being mean and trying to control her, and it's not like she asked to live here anyways. I'm the one that offered this arrangement. I offered her a place place to live, not to be her mother. I don't know how long I can have this type of relationship with my sister before it does serious and permanent damage to our relationship. I hate the idea of one day wanting no contact. Are there any suggestions on how to go forward? But before we go forward and get more details and Dakota, dare I say, more examples, what we're begging for, I have to talk to you, my friend.
Yes.
How would you suggest OP goes forward, and would you go no contact?
You guys probably don't need to go no contact. I think that you are just like two different people. I don't think your sister's going out of her way to like ruin your life. I think you're just like you're on opposite sides of the personality spectrum.
Yeah.
And I think clearly you guys aren't a great fit to live together.
So bad.
So I think just don't live with this person. And, I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot of, I picked it up as soon as the story started. There's just like a very intense negativity directed towards the sister, and clearly not for no reason.
Yeah.
But I think also it's like, I'm not trying to like defend the sister's behavior. Like,
Right.
That's like a nightmare roommate. But like, do we have the age ranges too? It's like how much?
They're 33 and 32.
So they're almost the same age.
Yes.
Oh, that's actually, never mind. That's insane. Like, I'm sorry.
That's,
Yeah,
where, where you draw the line?
I'm
oh,
sorry,
yeah.
no, but this whole time,
one age
for
difference?
some
Oh,
reason,
wow, that's crazy.
in my
Everything else wasn't fine?
in my head, I was like, this is like a 19-year-old.
Right.
I'm like, they don't have any real world experience yet. I don't know how I got mixed up about that. The fact that they are both fully grown
Yeah.
adults in their 30s.
So now,
Yeah, stop. You just
No.
stop it.
low to no contact would be perfectly fine.
Honestly, I think she just needs to get her out.
Yeah.
I think there could be a world where they could be okay and don't have to go,
Yeah.
give a space.
But I think that
Space.
would hinge on the sister's behavior changing, which it won't, because the sister's just a mooch. And as soon as you stop facilitating her moochery, like, I think she's not going to have anything to say to you anyway. So
I have something that might change your tune.
let's
Are you ready?
bump me up a couple of octaves here.
Here we go. Details. So my sister does have ADHD, depression, and she sees a therapist for this, but I think it's a yes man therapist because nothing changes. She continues to think nothing she does is a cause of tension in the family and has made no improvements on maintaining employment and positive progress among family relationships. Also, she can be very kind and generous when she wants or has resources. Between the two of us, we pay for a life insurance policy for our grandmother and pay in yearly payments. I was injured this year and living on savings, and her newest job ended recently, so she had some savings and she volunteered to pay this year's payment even though it was my turn. We switched years. Okay, that is good. That is good. That is good. By the way, if you're looking for something to help you focus, something to just keep you company, something to scratch that itch in your brain that you got, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to Spotify, if you go to Apple Podcasts, if you go to your favorite podcast app and you type in OK Storytime, thousands of hours of episodes, full episodes with stories just like this, Dakota.
Yep.
It's insane.
Indeed.
It's insane.
Quite right.
But this is not thousands of hours. This story is literally ending imminent.
Coming to
Actually,
an end.
we have a good chunk left. We're like 80% through. But I think I might be changing my tune.
Oh, yeah?
I think OP, she's struggling with depression, ADHD. It's a gray area of like, okay, where's your personal responsibility and where that kind of thing. It's a bigger discussion than we can have in a minute. But I'm gonna get back to the story. When I initially injured my back at work, I was waiting to be approved for surgery. I was basically bedridden. She helped out a lot, no complaint, living in my section of the house, and would provide my medications or a hot pad whenever I asked her to go get them. I'm just saying that is a point in OP's day-hole column. I'm just saying. Most of my friends are not fans of my sister, and they think she's entitled and rude. She's not a mean person, just unthoughtful and a bit ungrateful. What do I need to do going forward to establish adult responsibilities and relationship between us? And we have some comments on this. So commenter 1 says, it sounds like she needs to strike out on her own to see what's been given to her. The only way for her to stop using control as an argument is to remove herself from the career role. This wouldn't have to be permanent. Her saying that she didn't ask to live there is a pretty clear message. She needs to learn to ask for help when needed. Teaching her to live independently will be a lot of work, but it is what she needs. Maybe talk to a real estate agent with her present about how much you could charge if you were putting this on the rental market, or go through apartment listings with her, as she has implied she is unhappy and doing you a favor. Her mental health concerns don't mean you have to be treated badly.
I'm kicking her out as soon as I hear, I didn't ask to live here. Great. Well, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Yeah.
How about that?
Like, 3 years later, and then you're like, well, I didn't have to. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't
Everyone's-
have to deal with this.
Everyone's here.
Yeah, and everyone's, that's fair.
OP's a self a-hole for not realizing that she's putting herself in the situation as well as the sister by like refusing to be firm in any way with her.
Commenter number 2. This is the monster you've created. Stop coddling her. Evict her. Find new tenants and use the extra money to hire a pet sitter. Yes. Commenter number 3. I think you raise her rent to market rate. Save it. Give her 3 months. This should give her enough time to find a place, and the rent money will be enough for first, last, and security. Time to her to fly. Then you get a new basement tenant that pays you market rate, and you start recouping on your investment, because remember, OP had to spend the money to make it livable. Your relationship will fuck for a bit, but in the end, you'll be sisters and friends and not a sister who is a leech. Good luck. And that's the end. I think OP sucks at least a little bit. I think in a nutshell, everyone sucks here. I think everyone sucks
Yeah, in their own way.
In their own-
different
in
ways.
their own special
yeah,
way.
in different ways.
Yeah.
That last comment, that was a great one. I think, yeah, definitely raising the rent.
But that's it. That's literally all she wrote.
Yeah.
And that's all we got.
My sister accused me of not caring about her, so I stopped calling.
I'll show you not caring.
My 28 female sister, 33 female, who we'll call Jane, moved out of our parents' house when she was 18 and joined the Portuguese Navy. After that, she only visited on the weekends, if she was not working. We used to be very close prior to this, despite our little sisterly fights. By the way, this comes from user Rafi96Lucas, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. However, after she moved out, we started to drift away, and our relationship hit a brick wall when she had a fight with our mom, 56 female, because she was drinking too much. This ended up with her going no contact with the entire family for about a year and a half. During this time, as I found out from my cousin, she met Mark, as they all worked together. They started dating and then moved in together. The next time I talked to her was when I found out she was pregnant with my niece.
What?
Surprise! I was wasted, but I admit I was an a-hole and said some crap I shouldn't have said. I apologized for it, and things seemed to go back to normal between us. However, she was still low contact with our parents and myself, and no contact with the rest of our family on our mom's side. Now, this is where it gets funny. I got my driving license 3 days before the birth of my niece.
Okay.
However, I had no idea she had gotten into labor until my godmother, 58 female, who works in the hospital in our town, called me to tell me that my sister had been admitted and was in the process of delivering my niece. My godmother was the first one of the family, aside from my brother-in-law, 34 male, who we will call Mark, and my sister, to see their baby girl. We visited on the same day, of course, but she was there earlier and even checked in on her and the baby. After she left the hospital, my godmother only got news of the baby from me and my mom. At that time, we had no idea what was happening, but stay tuned, because I will explain.
I'm staying. I'm right here.
Please. She returned to her house, about a 1-hour drive from our town, along with Mark. She only called twice a week and never answered my calls. Fast forward about 3 years, we were all together. My parents, myself, my girlfriend, 43 female, Jane, my sister, Mark, brother-in-law, and my niece, along with my dad's, 61 male, side of the family in a party in his village. My sister was not drinking, which everyone but Mark found very odd. Guess what? She's pregnant. Again.
What?
This time, it's a beautiful baby boy. Jane and Mark had promised me, when she was pregnant with my niece, that I would be the next baby's godmother. Therefore, I was super excited about having a godson and immediately started planning a ton of fun stuff we can do all together, Jane and myself, while she was pregnant. However, she was never available. When the baby was born, they decided to choose someone else as the godmother.
They
And
bamboozled her.
They bamboozled her.
Dang.
Not gonna lie, that hurt like Anyway, about 2 years ago, during the vid, Mark proposed.
Oh.
No one in our family was present, and we only found out when she told us that she wanted our dad to give her away. We were happy for them, although very surprised. Dad agreed, and she started planning the wedding. Due to the vid, they had to reschedule and ended up getting married in July 2023. That is a whole other drama, but I'll try to keep it short. She didn't invite anyone on our mom's side of the family who helped raise her to be the woman she was before the drinking situation. My father's side of the family was in the wedding party, but myself and my mom were basically normal guests. She wanted to use my car to get to the ceremony and was upset because, in her words, we were late to pick her up for the ceremony. We left our town 2 hours ahead of time, but on the way, we caught an accident on the road and ended up being 2 minutes late for the time we had agreed to be there.
2 minutes? Calm down. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I had to carpool with someone else because she didn't want me to arrive at the same time as her. Interesting. My girlfriend drove my car to the ceremony and told me my sister was witching the whole time about us being late when I had called her and told her about the accident as soon as we found out, and that's why the traffic was so bad. Anyway, they got married. It was beautiful, and everyone cried.
Oh.
This was close to lunchtime, so the reception extended into the night. However, after lunch, as one of her friends took her kids and my nephew to get a nap, I told my sister that myself and my mom needed to go check in as we were spending the night and the host was waiting for us. For a reminder, she was the one who planned everything and she knew everything that would be happening in the wedding and what time it would be happening. She never told us. Because of traffic, we took about a 1-hour drive to arrive to the house that was 30 minutes away to check in and ended up missing her first dance, and
Aw.
she was very upset. There is zero communication here.
Yeah, absolutely not. Because they weren't even told what time it even started, but they still, right?
Yeah,
But they still tried to get there on time.
I get it. Weddings are stressful, but if you're planning everything for everyone or planning things for your family members,
Yeah.
you should let them know all the big
Like
details.
what the plan is.
Yeah.
and all.
We apologized, of course, but we had no idea that it would take so long, and we had no idea that the first dance would be during that time. From what my girlfriend told me, only her and my dad were present during the dance, and that's why my sister was so upset. So, myself and my mom missed the first dance, but so did my father's side of the family, as they had gone to check into their house 1 hour before myself and my mom left, and they only returned 2 hours after us. They were staying 10 minutes away.
Oh my gosh.
After this, she went to her honeymoon, but called every day and always answered the phone as we were babysitting the kids, and she wanted to make sure everything was okay. Obviously, we were not calling all the time, just once or twice a day, so they could talk to the kids. 3 months later, they had a few vacation days and decided to spend them in our hometown. This did not go well.
Uh-oh.
Remember when I said it was funny that my godmother was the first one to see my niece? Well, it turns out my dad's sister, 59 female, has been talking crap about my godmother, and my sister believed her. For a little background information, my sister was taken in by my parents after my dad's younger sister, her bio mom, passed away in a motorcycle accident when she was 3?
Oh man.
Okay.
Yikes.
However, she was always raised as their daughter and my sister, and was never discriminated for that. But, according to my aunt, who never wanted to take care of her and ran away from her when she saw us, which is why she was taken in by my parents, my godmother said something along the lines of, "If it wasn't for my sister and brother-in-law, you would be in the foster care system."
Dude, that's harsh. That's harsh.
What do
man.
we what's all this negativity for?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess if no one took me in, then I guess, but like why? It just feels so aggressive.
But
saying
guess
it like
what?
that. Yeah.
She was taken in.
She was.
So why are we okay?
Yeah.
My sister yelled at my parents that they had allowed her to say something like that to a kid of 5 years old, and she didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. This is when I got pissed. My girlfriend was sitting next to me trying to calm me down, but Mark said she had nothing to do with it as we were only dating for 2 years, and she is not part of the family. She was my friend for 5 years before we started dating. My girlfriend got up and went outside. As soon as this happened, my sister proceeded with yelling at our mom and got up with some kind of intention, if you know what I mean. A little
Uh-oh.
physical. Of course, I would never allow anyone to touch my mom, so I also got up. She shoved me, but wasn't able to get me out of the way, and suddenly, all I saw was my girlfriend in the middle of the two of us, begging me to calm down. I noticed my fist was close to my sister's face, and I decided to leave and take my mom home.
Ooh.
My girlfriend made me go back after my mom was home, so my sister and I sat down and we talked. My sister apologized at first, but then she hit me with a, "You never cared about my kids. You don't even call anymore." Mind you, I used to call every day. However, she never answered and didn't call back. So I stopped calling. No point in wasting my time with someone who clearly doesn't want to talk to me. Anyway, in September, she found out Mark was cheating on her with one of her friends. I just like that segue.
Oh my
Anyway.
gosh. Anyway.
Mark was cheating on her.
Adultery.
As soon as I found out, I called her, asked her if she needed anything, and offered my support as any good sister would do. Jane then thanked me and said she just needed time. So I gave her exactly that. I messaged her every day to check on her, but didn't get a response. So, again, I stopped reaching out. She called me once after that to ask me for help getting an extra job. This was because they had just moved to a new home when she found out about the cheating. And guess what? Never called again, nor answered my calls until about 2 weeks ago. And this is where I'm afraid I might have been a bit of a gigantic a-hole. 2 weeks ago, I got epically wasted, like needing subtitles to be understood when I was talking. I ended up posting a few pictures of the kids on my IG stories and crying looking at them as I haven't seen them since last summer of August 2024. I'm always working on weekends, so I can't go see them, and when I do have days off, it's school days, so they won't be able to see me. Not to mention, I have no clue where their house is. Jane saw my IG story and called me at 7 in the effing morning. I didn't answer for obvious reasons. I was extremely hungover the next day, and even if I wasn't, I was in no state to talk with anyone. By the way, you can talk with us 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whenever you want,
Whenever.
by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, wherever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime. There is a little bit left in this. We've said it this entire story.
Yeah.
Communication here is
Yes.
such a problem.
Yeah.
With, it seems like your sister, but also you. Like, I know you reach out, but you haven't really talked to your sister about, hey, our communication skills are not great.
Yeah.
So let's try and figure this out where we can maybe talk on Wednesdays or Sundays. At least,
Right.
Try and figure out a schedule where you can see your nieces and your niece and your nephew, and you can see your sister a little bit more.
Yeah.
But anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like everyone is kind of avoiding the problem until it blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I wholeheartedly agree.
yeah, like you just can't let that happen. It just feels like everyone is just genuinely or generally so distant from each other that it's like it's making it hard to communicate because it seems like they don't talk about like big things that often or something, or I don't know. It's very upsetting when it in that situation where she was like, I'm calling all the time. You just like, I'm not calling anymore because you never answered. So it was like, there was no point in calling. And now it's being
100%.
thrown back at her.
Now it's like, oh, I'm trying to reach out to you, and now you don't want to talk to me. Let's go ahead and finish this up. Hopefully you guys can figure it out. Again, talk it out. Let's see what happens.
I don't have very high hopes.
Me neither. I messaged Jane and asked her why she called me, but she left me on red for a while before just texting that I didn't give a crap about her. Again, the communication here is so poor. So, after all this, am I the a-hole for not calling? She's the one who went no contact with everyone in the family, so I don't think I am, but I want to know what y'all think. Edit. I did ask my godmother about the she said situation. My godmother did admit to saying it, but according to her, my sister was already an adult when she said it. Jane was 18 or 19 years old at the time. With the godmother thing, it don't matter if you're 5 years old, 15 years old, 60
Yeah.
years old. You don't say that. That's just really messed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
On to you, OP. Are you the a-hole for cutting contact?
I don't
Though
think
I think
so.
everyone here is just kind of somewhat of an a-hole because
Yeah.
the way you guys are handling the situation is so high school, where it's
Mm.
like, no, you won't message me, so I'm not going to message you. It's a little petty.
Yeah, I get that. That is something I don't like. But
You obviously care about your sister. You obviously care about her family, your niece, your nephew. You care about them. You want to see them.
yeah,
if you continue this way of I don't care, I'm cutting contact, you're never gonna see them again, and you're just gonna regret it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you just need to own it up and one, talk to your sister, not through text, but actually genuinely talk to her and be like, hey, both of us are communicating so poorly here.
Yeah.
How do we figure this out?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a great point. Because it's like, I was thinking, no, you're not the a-hole because if she was doing that first. But at the end of the day, if you guys do want to like rekindle your relationship and eventually talk to each other, someone's got to do it. It doesn't really matter who
Someone has
cut
to own up
contact.
to it. Yeah.
So
It's a silly game. At this point, it just
Yeah.
seems like a silly game of like crappy telephone.
yeah, I
So-
totally agree. So not the a-hole, but you can do something.
You can do something rather than being like, I'll be petty.
Yeah.
Don't be petty. Be
Exactly.
be the bigger person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys, you want to hang out, you want to talk, and you guys need to figure it out on the communication problems here. That's it.
Exactly.
My conservative family keeps trying to control what I wear. I've had enough.
No one asked for your opinion.
Backstory for context. I, 41 female, have always been a chesty woman. Since I was 13, I have been a double D cup. That's I'm pretty sure big. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Will do that to you. It comes with hormone changes, weight gain, and a rapid growth of facial hair during puberty. Whoa. By the way, this comes from Prestigious Ticket 62. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, after discovering an ovarian cyst the size of a softball, which was removed, I went from being flat-chested to looking like an adult film star over a few months. I can't help but develop so quickly. Are they still growing past the double Ds? Anyway, my mother and father thought they could try and hide it with turtlenecks and baggy clothes. While other teens wore cute outfits, I looked like a wannabe nun,
That's messed up.
covered from head to toe to hide my body. As I grew up, it got worse. I got asked to dances, and my parents would buy me dresses that covered me from the neck to the toes. I swear my claustrophobia was at an all-time high living in that house. Because of all this, I also developed depression. At this point, I didn't care what I looked like and ate a lot to cope with everything that was going on in my life and mind. I gained weight, a lot of it. And of course, that was just another thing for my parents to complain about. Fast forward to now, I'm all grown up and living on my own. For the past 20 years, I've worked on myself and my mental health to the point I lost 182 pounds.
Whew.
Dang.
That's impressive.
I went from a size 26 to a size 10 to 12, depending on the style of clothing, and got my hormones in check. You'd think my family would be happy for me, right? Wrong. I got invited to my cousin's wedding a couple months ago. I went out and bought a dress for the occasion because why not? I never buy things for myself, and I wanted to feel good on this day. I bought a beautiful blush pink dress with a sweetheart neckline and 2 to 3 sleeves with a lace overlay on top. Sounds like a beautiful dress. It was the prettiest thing ever and only showed a little bit
Yeah, because
of
I'm
the
imagining
cleavage.
it's like this, and then you have the lace covering as well.
Yeah.
So
They're just saying like a little bit. Just boop. As soon as I walked into the venue, my mother and father waved me over to their seats so I could sit with them. As soon as I sit down, my father decided it would be the perfect time to tell me that while I looked nice, it would be better if I could cover up with a wrap or something. I looked at my mother and she was clutching her imaginary pearls and instantly agreed with my father. Like me showing an inch or two of cleavage was the end of the world. I ignored them because I was raised better than to raise my voice in church. And after the ceremony, I walked away and didn't say a word.
yeah.
I congratulated my cousin and her husband on the way out, about to head to the reception. As soon as I got in my car with the love of my life, I heard my phone blowing up with texts. I glanced at the screen and saw both my father, mother, and even my sister texting me options of wraps I could borrow for the reception. I sighed and said I didn't need one because it was 84 degrees and I was already sweating in what I had on. They all responded with, well, If you knew how to dress yourself, then we wouldn't have to help you. That's when I lost it. I texted back, you all realize I am 41 years old. I can dress myself, right? I know me being big-chested must be so bad for you since I'm the one who has to live with them and have lived with them for over 20 years. I like how they're like little roommates.
I've been living with them. You don't know what it's like.
I need to charge them rent for being up here. This is my body, and I will wear what I want, where I want. Stop trying to police my outfits. You witched and blamed me when I was heavier, and now that I feel good in my own skin, you want to tear me down more. I'm done. I will see you at the reception. And if any of you try to cover me up or to save face, I will not hesitate to cut you all off.
Yes.
I turned my phone off and had my boyfriend drive us to the reception. He was so proud of me for standing up to my parents that we might have taken a detour to a secluded beach and made out for an hour. Okay, OP.
Okay.
Anyway, once we got to the reception, my cousin and aunt pulled me aside and scolded me for sending my parents the message I sent. I explained to them that they have been policing my clothing for decades and I'm done with it. I am an adult and can decide what's appropriate and what's not. My aunt understood, but my cousin said she isn't taking sides and wish I hadn't started drama on her day. Okay, wait.
How is this? This is ridiculous.
Pausing right here. Right here. It's at a wedding, the cousin's wedding.
Sure.
Is OP at all the a-hole for pushing back like on that day?
No, because they kept harassing her. And also it wasn't like they were in front of everyone and Opie was like, how dare
It's
you?
a text.
This was a text.
And
This
also,
was a text.
there's the issue of placing blame on the wrong party.
Exactly.
Don't place blame on OP setting a boundary with their parents, being like, hey, I'm going to wear what I want. I'm an adult woman. Place blame, if you're going to place blame on anyone,
parents.
on the parents being like,
Yeah.
cover up, you
If the
sweet summer child.
Because I'm assuming the parents came up to the cousin and were like, oh, please, won't cover up. And we're like complaining or something. And that's how the cousin found out.
And the cousin should be like,
Shut up.
shut up, this is my day.
my wedding day. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
My aunt understood, but my cousin said she isn't taking sides and wished I hadn't started drama on her day. I told my cousin if she was so concerned with drama, then maybe she needed to go talk to my parents and tell them to stop telling people how I upset them.
Yes.
That's what we just said.
That's what I and Sam just said.
So Reddit, am I the a-hole? I want to know from all of y'all here with us in the room right now. Do you believe OP is in the a-hole in any way? And also, like, what should OP do from here? Is there anything that can be done?
I think you just tell your cousin, you say, well, I think OP kind of already did, but you said, like, I don't want to talk about this because it's your wedding day. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. And then you say to your parents, you block them. You say, stop talking to me.
Yeah. And also stop talking to the cousin and spreading
stop talking to the cousin. Stop
bad
talking to me.
vibes.
Shut your mouth and enjoy the day.
We got some edits.
Woo.
We got some updates. So let's get into it.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right.
it.
That 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month. So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X's. Well, let's get back to the story.
Edit. Some people in the comments were shocked about the dress color choice, which was what? I think it was pink. The theme was 2 shades of pink. Just envision the wedding scene from Steel Magnolias, a blush pink and a dusty rose shade of pink. And to add, my aunt, who also had polycystic ovarian syndrome and was rather large-chested herself before she got a reduction, finally understood where I was coming from. My mother was even wearing the same shade of pink as me. So the cousin was not mad about the pink color. She was just upset that I upset my parents and sister. The only other person who was on my side and didn't see it as a problem with my outfit was my brother. The rest of the reception, my brother and boyfriend were playing defense, keeping my parents and sister away from me the rest of the night. Everyone else? Now I'm questioning the dress then. Like,
Well, no, I think
if everyone, like,
It is either the dress or they are around similar people like her parents.
I feel like she's getting like punished for just having a different
Yeah.
body a little bit. But I also like, I'm like, what possibly could this dress be that it's upsetting this
I think she just
entire
has-
gathering?
I think she just literally just has a different body type, and they're all haters.
Well, yeah, potentially, but like, and Ani says like, if no one is on her side,
I
and,
okay,
like,
but
then
I
I'm
was
like, then I'm
reading
like,
that.
now I'm like, okay, like what's
I
wrong?
may have
Because before
misread it.
that, yeah.
I may have misread it, but I was reading it as no, like,
Oh, none
There
of her
was-
like core family.
yeah.
Let's get into it. There's a whole other backstory behind why I have a strained relationship with my family, but I'll probably make an update on that at some point. I do want to discuss things with my family. I just don't know how to start. I don't know if I should go in shooters blazing or gently bring it up so they don't feel like I'm attacking them. I just want my voice to be heard, and there is an update. Do we want to see the dress now, or do we want to go into the
Might
update?
Give us more context before
Let's
we
hit
get
it.
into the
Yeah,
update. All right, ready?
let's see. Let's see it.
Woo. Oh, come on. Come on.
That's literally below the knee.
That's like, oh my God. Wow. That is just so much coverage.
That's a lot of coverage.
So
But
much
imagine-
coverage.
But didn't she say she has a double breast,
Double D.
double D,
Double breast. Didn't she say she had two boobs?
double breasted compared to other women? Is that true?
She's not double breasted. She's
Well, it may look like she's double breasted
Double
compared to
Ds.
other women,
What does
right?
double-breasted even mean?
She's
Aren't
just
all-
double the
all women
size
are
of the breast.
double-breasted?
unless they've lost one boob.
I don't know. I'm Miss Jaybird says double D is not that big. Is that not big?
It's not that big.
All right, but we got an update. So on Saturday, I contacted my brother and sister to talk about what happened a few months ago at the wedding. So this is the update. My sister was hesitant but agreed, and my brother was all in and said he'd be there. We met up at my sister's place and sat down. I started off the conversation by saying that I love my family and would never insult them in any way, but for a 41-year-old woman to be reprimanded over a dress that wasn't even too revealing was ridiculous. My sister tried defending herself and my parents, but my brother put a stop to it right there. He mentioned all the times mom, dad, and her would always nitpick my outfits growing up, never allowing me the freedom to have my own personality or style. It wasn't about her. It was about me and how I feel. That shut her up. Well, all I wanted was for her to see how it feels for me always being knocked down when I have something good going on in my life, always feeling like a second-class citizen in the family, never living up to their expectations, not wanting to be the dutiful daughter anymore, and wanting to make my own choices and live the life that I want. And that doesn't include covering myself up from the neck down. My chest was no longer up for discussion.
Hell yeah.
If they can't be happy that I am still willing to be a part of the family, then so be it. And that goes for her as well. I laid it all out. If she can't support me against my parents, then I would have to cut her out too. I also mentioned how being cut out of Christmas because of my stunt at the wedding was uncalled. She wore a normal dress
And she was
to
cut
a
out
wedding.
of Christmas?
And she went, what?
Oh my God.
We saw the dress. And it's like, it feels very covered. It's not like a Kanye girlfriend dress where it's
Yeah,
completely
not a
laced.
dress.
Do you even want to be around this family?
No.
Question for all of you, is this low contact or no contact kind of vibe?
I guess that's up to OP.
I feel like I think putting your distance and checking in to see if they've
Yeah.
changed their mind,
Yeah.
which is why I recommend low contact, but it really does seem that they're affecting your mental health, and like,
Agreed.
Nothing's worth that.
Agreed.
I told her if she wants to side with mom and dad, that's fine, but I will no longer accept their toxic behavior. We are all grown-ups and should act that way. No more involving people in family drama. And she agreed. She said she would talk to mom and dad on my behalf because as of right now, I am blocked by them. By the way, you should never block us and listen to us 24/7 in your ear holes by going to our podcast, OK Storytime. Wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to us while you're doing other stuff. It's pretty great.
Tons of other stuff.
Tons of other stuff. So my brother, on the other hand, decided to be petty. He's planning a family Easter get-together and is going to invite everyone except my parents. He might go over there in the morning to see them and talk some sense to them, but he's not holding his breath on them realizing their mistakes. So as for right now, I have both siblings on my side, but we'll see how long that lasts. If I have blowout with my parents in the future, I'll update, but as of right now, I guess this is all I can give. And that is where that story ends. But we got more for you.
We got so much more for you.
My friend's sister treated me poorly for years. I finally snapped.
Oh, you did exactly what I was going to do.
Background. My 33 female friend Beth, 34 female, has an older sister Jill, 38 female, who has hated me since we first met. She's always called me a weirdo freak and said I deserve the bullying I got because I was such a dork. By the way, this comes from Sleepy Chick, and if you want to submit your own stories, please go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I stopped visiting Beth's house because of Jill and didn't want to see her again until Beth's 18th birthday, where she told the people that I was her boyfriend. I literally said hello to him, and that was it because I was too ugly and weird to attract my own guy. Thankfully, she moved away not long after that, and I was just glad to be rid of her. Now, Beth and I arranged a dinner reservation with other 3 in our group. All right.
You handed me. Okay.
OP.
You got it, though. You got
OP.
it. OP.
33 female.
3 fee.
Beth. 34. Friend. Oh man, this is rough.
Friend.
Okay. Jill. 38.
Beth's sister.
38.
Evil.
Evil sissy.
All right. Now we're back to our friends. Sweet. Now Beth and I arranged a dinner reservation with the other 3 in our group. Liz, 33 female. Kelly, 34 female. And Megan, 34 Megan.
Boo.
This was our first real chance to see each other in over 2 years due to a number of reasons, and we were all looking forward for a chance to finally catch up. Beth offered to drive me and Kelly with her to the restaurant. Since neither of us can drive and have CFS and several types of chronic pain, so traveling isn't easy for me. Dang.
Dude, CFS.
We caught a bus to Beth's flat together, but it was Jill who answered the door, which both shocked us. Beth hadn't told us that Jill was visiting, and we would appreciate a heads up since neither of us have a good history with Jill. Still, we were polite. Kelly said hello and complimented Jill's dress, and I said, "Hi Jill, nice to see you. How have you been?" Jill ignored Jelly and turned to me and said, "Better than you, clearly. Still a pale freak you are."
A pale freak?
A pale freak.
The Nosferatu.
No.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, so I've got that OP and Kelly are in the no chill Jill zone.
Yeah. Nice. I couldn't help it and snapped at her. At least I'm not a bitter hag still clinging to grudges I started with the 12-year-old. Maybe it's time you grew a bit. Bro. Woo! She was right.
Woo!
It was instinctual.
I'm catching the residual heat off of that. That
you
was
know
a
how like a
burn.
doctor like hits your knee and
it goes, yeah.
That's exactly what just happened.
The reflex.
Jill immediately ran off screaming for Beth and saying she's not taking us anywhere until that see you next Tuesday apologise, which confused me and Kelly because why would she be taking us anywhere? That was when Beth came out and revealed her car was broken, so Jill was meant to be driving us, and I shouldn't have been cruel to her sister, and that's just Jill's humor. Kelly called BS, and Jill is a bully. And she only surprised I had it snapped years ago and told me I better not apologize. I said I had no intention to. Beth said, well, you can make your own way to the restaurant then, and punted us out. Kelly and I called Liz and Megan to update them and said we'd be running late since we now had to pay for a cab, and they're split. Liz thought I should just apologize because Beth is siding with Jill and it would cut the tension, but Megan thought this was long overdue and Jill had it coming, and Beth needs to accept her sister's actions have consequences. In the end, I refused to apologize. We got a taxi, only to find out Beth was refusing to join us over what I said to Jill. This was a week ago, and Beth is now refusing to speak to any of us other than Liz, who told her she'd said I was at fault until I apologized to his sister. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Thank you so much for your positive responses. I'm going off to bed. Are we apologizing? Let's do a vote. I know what the vote is, but I want everyone to have the satisfaction to voice their opinion. Apologize or not?
I mean,
It's too late.
I think it just depends on how smooth you want the current situation to go. I think you can do a little sorry, and then just like you can continue your trip. But also, does your friend Beth know that her sister's like, I mean, having a grudge, starting a grudge with a 12-year-old is pretty whack. And then it was what it was Liz and Megan being like, you should just apologize. You have other friends that just want you to apologize so you can get the show on the road. Like, I think realistically in this moment, you just apologize because it allows you to actually enjoy things instead of having now this whole situation with Jill just become Jill.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to mean it, but I think you can just do it for the smoothness. For a smooth ride.
But you're giving up short-term, solution for a long-term problem.
Yeah, but you can address the long-term problem at a time where it doesn't impact like the group trip.
Yeah. Update. Hi, folks. A lot of you have asked me to update after my last post, and I decided to. Thank you for all the commenters, blah, 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 blah. Liz and Beth's instance that I apologize was making me second guess myself. So I appreciate your help. Most of you also pointed out Beth's reaction was enabling Jill, and Liz's reaction was expecting me to roll over in the name of keeping the peace. I've come to realize that this has been a pattern for years in our group, playing peacekeeper to Beth and Liz for the good of the group, not only for me, but for Megan and Kelly as well. So the update, I still haven't heard from Beth, but Liz has been bombarding me with texts and voicemails saying I was out of order and we owe all three of them apologies for how I acted for continuing to drag things out. She even suggested as a way to start making it up, I should have everyone, including Jill, to a restaurant and pay for everything. Okay, Liz, I am not about this with Liz.
Yeah. Hey, Liz, why don't you make me the king of space too while you're at it? Why don't we just do I have now labeled you a betrayer, Liz.
Yeah. Low
Betrayer,
key,
guilty spark.
you might just need to leave the friend group and hang out with Kelly and Megan because Liz and Beth don't got your best interests in mind.
That's true.
I have no desire to spend what would be a month's rent on their drinks bill alone. Not to mention, I don't feel I've done anything wrong. Frankly, that she even suggested this only persuaded me more to cut her off. I met up with Megan and Kelly last night and told them that I am not apologizing to Jill. Frankly, she's stuck in her high school mean girl era.
Exactly.
And I'd be glad to never see her again. I also said I'm sick of swallowing my feelings to avoid tension because Liz and Beth never apologize, and I'm cutting contact with Beth and Liz. I was expecting protests about breaking up the group. I did not expect Megan to admit she's only stuck with Liz for so long because, like me, Liz was one of her only friends during bullied years, and she didn't want to ruin dynamic by acting out of turn. Or for Kelly to say that for years she's been sick of Liz and Beth treating the three of us like we're inferior, and she was worried if we spoke up about it, she'd lose me and Megan as well. Okay.
So Kelly is on the side of light. Liz is on the side of darkness.
It's Kelly and Megan that we got here.
Right. Yes. And then Beth and Liz, their loyalty stems from their connection during Liz's high school years where she was being bullied, and that was Beth was her friend. Okay.
I'm so glad we wrote this down.
Yes, I am too.
I knew whenever we first started, I was like, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
I knew. You're doing great. I'm proud. We all had a very overdue chat about how we all really feel about this group and agreed that Beth and Liz are not true friends to any of us. Kelly and Megan showed me their messages from Beth and Liz, basically painting me as some kind of demon on ruining their lives. I had to laugh at the one from Liz reminding them both of how I ruined her wedding by not attending due to my selfish emergency surgery. That was 5 years ago, and I'm only now hearing that I ruined things because some guest asked after my health at the reception and drew attention away from her big day. Clearly, I am the awful person for this.
Seems very like a stretch right there.
Yep. And after this, you can stretch on out to your favorite podcast platform. You can search up OK Storytime, where we have a big, long stretch of cool, awesome stories that are as dramatic as this one.
Yes.
I think we just got a stronger friend group here.
I think if OP and Kelly and Megan become their own trifecta, and then Bill I mean, Beth and Jill and Liz.
Jill isn't really around.
We could call them Jibliz, could just do their own thing, and then you can have your own thing with Kelly and Megan.
Also, whenever Liz, I got so turned off whenever Liz was like, and maybe OP, you can make it up to us by starting to pay for our drinks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And dinner.
Where it's like, again, this is like Beth's older sister has just had beef with OP forever and is like not letting it go.
You get bullied.
And then OP
you pay for
like
my
stands
drinks.
up for herself, and now Jill wants to be like, well, no one's getting in my car if she's in my car. And it's like, it's really, that's Jill making everything difficult, not OP.
Anyways, we are completely cutting contact with Beth, Liz, and Jill. We've saved our messages just in case, because I don't see Jill, Beth, or Liz disappearing quietly from our lives once they've realized we're not going to play ball. But in the meantime, we're planning to do a zoo trip next week, so we'll enjoy a day free of drama. Comments. In all honesty, I would change all of your numbers. That way you don't have to worry about them you by using their numbers to get a hold of you. OP says thanks for your suggestion. I'll pass it on to Kelly and Megan as well. At the moment, I've just blocked Liz and Beth, as otherwise I need to update all my medical stuff, work, friends, and family, etc. And would prefer not to have that happen. If they do start me though, I won't hesitate to change my number. Another commenter says, hiya, how are the three of you doing? Are you three doing all right? I guess this is a bit later. OP replies, hey there, thank you for asking. I wanted to add another update, but Am I the A-hole only allows one. Technical difficulties. I did a mini update a few days ago because sadly things have gone a bit nuts. Basically, I had to change my number due to Liz and Beth constantly barrage of voicemails and texts, which started with attempted guilt trips but turned vicious when I didn't respond, plus loads of unknown numbers trying to me on their behalf.
Oh my God.
After I changed my number, I think they must have realized how serious I was because Beth tried to ambush me at my hairdresser's last week, a place she wouldn't have been seen passed away in. Jill literally stood outside like a creeper the whole time staring at us. Luckily, the owner has known me for years, realized something was wrong much instantly, and kept us separated at opposite ends of the salon. Beth did try speaking across the salon, but I just said I couldn't hear her very well since I didn't have my hearing aids in. And she can call me later if she wants to catch up. She looked very angry at that. When I was meant to leave, the owner asked me to come to the back, allegedly to find my coat, but really so I could tell her what's happening. She was pissed, to put it mildly, promised to track down how my appointment was leaked, no answers yet, and snuck me out the back. I love her. That was all last week, and I updated my family and Meg and Kelly that we've officially entered stalking territory. Oh my gosh. Thankfully, Meg and Kelly have no similar stalking attempts, though they have both changed their numbers and blocked a fair few people from the social medias due to her. Meg also told us her parents were approached on Liz's behalf a few days ago by Liz's own parents. Meg's parents shut them down flat, and Meg was extremely gleeful when telling me and Kelly about it. So that was one positive, I guess. I also spoke to the police last week to try and press charges about the stalking. But they said there's nothing they can do. I'm still keeping a record of everything we have, cameras too, in case things get worse. My brother has spotted a strange car near our house a few times.
Oh my God.
Though it hasn't been able to see the driver, I'm really hoping it's not connected, but at this point, who knows? Sorry, this isn't exactly a positive update. The three of us are still hoping Beth and Liz realize they have gone off the deep end and back off, so we will see. Oh my gosh!
Woo-wee.
Dude!
Wow.
Who knew?
I've got a bit of an update here. So we've got happy face for OP, another happy face for the friends Kelly and Megan, and then we're gonna just go ahead and cross out those three and have them go to jail.
Yep.
Go to jail.
Yeah, for being stalkers and stuff. That's not cool.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Dude, that came out of nowhere.
It got so extreme. Like, how come they just can't let it go?
Yeah.
It's over. It's over. You three can be best friends, and then Kelly and Megan and OP can be best friends, and you guys can just love each other instead of hating.
Yeah. Dude, what the heck?
Yeah, it's just, what? That is literally the definition of I don't want peace. I want problems always.
I called it.
You did.
I don't want peace.
Want the problems.
I didn't
I
know
want
it would get
problems
that out of hand.
You know, sometimes it does.
Golly, dude.
Whew. Well, that is the end of that story.
My sister disrespected my kid-free wedding rule, so I had her removed.
That's a lot.
So, I, 28 female, am getting married next month. Ooh. And I've been planning this wedding for almost a year. My fiance, 31 male, and I both agreed we wanted an adults-only event, mostly because we envisioned a more formal wedding. Have you been to an adults-only wedding?
Yeah. It's lit.
Also, the venue is small and very upscale. Not really the best place for young kids to be around. By the way, this comes from Stranger Danger 4444. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So the problem is my sister, 32 female, who has 2 kids, 5 and 7. When I first mentioned the no kids policy, she didn't seem too upset. But as we got closer to the wedding, she started dropping little hints about how hard it would be to find a sitter. I totally get that it's tough, but I did offer to pay for a local sitter to stay with her kids at her hotel for the night. That's a win. So she could attend the wedding without worrying. Well, she didn't like that suggestion. She says it's unfair because our other sister's wedding 3 years ago was family friendly and allowed kids, but they are different weddings. But at the time, our niece and nephew were much younger and much quieter. At this age, they're really energetic and love running around, and they tend to get cranky at night, which isn't what I want on my wedding day. It's become a point of contention. She's now saying that if her kids aren't invited, she's not sure she'll attend, which honestly hurts your bit. Do you think that's too much?
I think so. I mean, it's like your sister's wedding.
She's not sure she'll attend, which honestly hurts a bit. My mom have told me it's our choice, our wedding, our rules, since we are the ones getting married, and I feel like I've been flexible and offered a good solution, but she's making me feel guilty for not bending this rule for family. So am I the a-hole for sticking to the no kids rule and potentially making my sister feel unwelcome? But we got an edit. So a lot of people have asked if I know the sitter, and I do. Okay. She lives in her neighborhood and has a lot of our kids' neighbors or our neighbors' kids. She is a very responsible young woman around 22, 24. Can't remember her exact age. I do, of course, understand that my sister might not be comfortable leaving the kids to a person she doesn't know, but I just wanted to offer her a solution. Her husband also has a family who I don't think would have anything against sitting the kids for one night, but I will let her decide if she wants to show. I just hope she does, since I do care about her and would love to have her there. Another reason is we don't want kids there because there's open bar and we don't want kids and wasted people around each other. And my fiance's family loves to party with a nice amount of wine and beer. Like, why would you even want your kids there? Thank you for all the nice words and advice. I will give an update after the wedding, and we will be keeping the no kids rule, but we are thinking about letting kids be there for the ceremony like some people suggested. Sorry it's taken so long to write the update. To be honest, I totally forgot about my post. Between the wedding, the honeymoon, and the family drama, it just slipped my mind. But better late than never, right? Well, the wedding happened, and let's just say it wasn't without its moments. Buckle up, because this is a ride. So after the last post, me and my now husband decided to allow kids at the ceremony, but kept the reception adults only. My sister wasn't thrilled, but said she would figure something out. I took that to mean she was actually going to find someone to take the kids after the ceremony. No, it wasn't that. Ha, cute of me to assume. And it's not like I don't like my nephew and niece. They're adorable and sweet when we babysit them because they know we set rules. But when my sister is there, they don't listen to anything because she and her husband let them do whatever they want. Okay, so I feel like these kids are going to be let loose on this wedding. I think it's not going to go well.
Little children.
The ceremony was beautiful. My niece and nephew had their iPads, so they were still and well behaved. And for a beautiful moment, I thought everything would go smoothly. How naive I was. After the ceremony, me and my newlywed husband stayed to take some more photos, and then we moved to the reception. Guests were already mingling, drinks were being poured, and I was feeling great. Then out of the corner of my eye, I saw my sister, her husband, and the kids. The one thing I told you not to bring. You bring these little rugrats in. Come on. How hard is it to leave your kids somewhere? People do it all the time. I thought she was just waiting for someone to come pick them up and didn't think much of it. Then about 20 minutes later, my nephew bolted across the room and in between the tables, nearly colliding with my stepfather. I looked at my maid of honor, and we both walked over to my sister, keeping my voice low. I reminded her that the reception was adults only. I feel like she's doing this, and her like, I just want to remind you.
As the kids are like running around.
Yeah, causing a ruckus. She sighed dramatically like I was personally ruining her life and said, we couldn't find a sitter last minute, so we'll just keep them for a little while.
Last minute? Y'all had time to prepare.
I calmly told her that I had given her multiple options, including a fully vetted, well-recommended sitter and her own in-laws, but she thanked no to the sitter and apparently didn't ask her in-laws. So she refused the sitter and didn't ask the in-laws. This is weaponized incompetence. Well, she just shrugged and said, well, we're already here and they're behaving just fine. At that exact moment, glass shattered. My heart dropped. The entire room passed away silent. I looked around trying to figure out what happened and saw my aunt, God bless her, I love her so much, lifting my nephew and handing him over to my stepdad. He was fortunately okay because he didn't step in glass because my lovely aunt were close enough to control the situation. My dad and husband cleaned all the glass up. Apparently, my nephew had been crawling under the tables, which is why maybe a sister is like, oh yeah, they're not causing any trouble because you couldn't see them. They were doing a covert operation to flip over the tables and mess up the wedding. He must have pulled a cloth by accident, making a plate and a few glasses fall and shatter. Thankfully, nobody got hurt and the glass got cleaned up. My maid of honor helped find some new glasses and a plate. And when the chaos was taken care of, I went back to my sister and told her she needed to get the kids home now.
Yeah. Leave.
Leave! Get out of here! And she lost her mind. Again, this is at OP's wedding. My sister started yelling. She said stuff like, I can't believe you're choosing a stupid rule over your own family. You're being a total bridezilla and you're literally punting out your own niece and nephew like they're stray dogs.
Heck yeah.
You deserve to be punted out. At this point, people were staring. My husband came over to back me up, and my sister's husband came to calm her down. She said she couldn't drive them home since she already had something to drink. My brother-in-law, her husband, said he would drive them to his parents' place. Why wasn't that option used from the beginning? They literally had that option the whole time. I'm a little mad.
The audacity.
She got even more mad and said that she couldn't leave her kids just to be at the wedding. My mom then told her that she could leave to them, and then my sister stormed out while muttering about how I was selfish and heartless. My brother-in-law, her husband, just stood there looking so embarrassed before awkwardly getting their kids, apologizing to me and my husband, and then following her out. The rest of the night went really nice. After the kids are gone, we had so much fun. It was genuinely a good night. My husband and I took a taxi to our hotel around 3. The party didn't end till around 5 or 6, but we were tired and just decided it was enough for us. We fell asleep right away, and it was honestly the best sleep ever. I thought the drama was over.
Oh, God. I thought it was 2.
I thought we were wrapping up. No, there's more drama. These kids are going to crawl back. They're going to be like little kid zombies. I thought the drama was over, but nah, that would be too boring, right? Honestly, I wouldn't mind some boring moments. The next morning, I say morning, but it was after 1 p.m. We were both pretty hungover and decided to just order some pizza since we didn't want to go down and eat with a whole lot of people in a cafe in the hotel restaurant. I checked my phone while he ordered pizza and saw my mom had written me to not pay attention to the post. She would take care of it. Are people just putting their family drama on Facebook again? Because I think that's what's happening.
That's not surprising. Facebook is so weird.
I was so confused and didn't know what she was talking about. But then I saw my sister's post on Facebook. My sister had posted a full-on rant about how I humiliated her in front of everyone and made her choose between her kids and her family. She claimed I was targeting her for having a fancy wedding and excluding her kids, and she heavily implied that I had disinvited her because I hated being an aunt and hated her kids.
What?
Some of our distant relatives who weren't even at the wedding started calling me out. One of my cousins commented, wow, some people take weddings way too seriously. It's just one night.
What the heck?
It's your wedding night. It's not just any night.
It's your night.
And also, OP gave so many weeks.
Also, it's like you're spending that much money on your party. Like, you can make your own rules.
We're having a little bowl party right now. We're not inviting kids.
And guess what? The rules are be a cowgirl and a cowboy.
Not a cow kid.
And we listen to the rules.
But luckily, my God-sent mom and dad were not having it. They had both jumped into the comments to set the record straight, saying I had given her plenty of options and she was fully aware of the rule months in advance.
Must we belabor the point?
If it was a point, it's just being like stabbed into the ground and made very dull. I had given her plenty of options and she was fully aware of the rule months in advance. I literally offered to pay for a sitter and she refused to use it. I didn't want to get into it and just turned off the phone. A few days after the wedding, my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, called me to apologize. He admitted that he had begged my sister to either accept my offer of a sitter or leave the kids with his parents, but she refused because she thought I'd cave at the last minute. So basically, the sister was planning this whole thing and be like, no, I'm not going to get a sitter because I want my kids there.
That's so silly. That's just rude.
I mean, it's super rude. He was mortified by how she acted and told me he had no idea she was going to make a scene like that. Apparently, they got into a huge fight about it afterwards because he was embarrassed that she made a scene. I didn't really say much. We had planned our honeymoon to be from the 3rd of January to the 12th of January so that we could hold Christmas and New Year's with our families. And the temperature is better in January for a skiing trip. We held Christmas at my husband's parents and it was really nice. We then spent New Year's with some of our friends. My sister did not speak to me at all since the wedding. She did take down the post though. We went on our honeymoon and it was so much fun. We both snowboard, though on total different skill levels, him being just a teeny tiny bit better. My sister called to apologize during the trip, but it really just ended up with her belittling me for punting her out of the wedding. So that's fun, I guess. Do I regret punting her out? Absolutely not. My wedding was so much better after she left. No drama, just a perfect night.
Amen.
Throw people out that deserve to be thrown out. Well, no drama, just a perfect night with the people who I love. By the way, if you love us, you should look at our full episodes of our podcast with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but I feel like we've covered good ground. Hopefully no more drama. Well, am I mad about the Facebook post? Not really. My mom and dad dragged her so hard in the comments that she eventually deleted it. Good. Am I still talking to my sister? Do you think this deserves no contact?
No, I feel like this shouldn't lead to that. Like, why can't people just have good conflict resolution?
How would you resolute this conflict?
I mean, literally just have a conversation. Hey, this was my wedding. Like, it wasn't fair for you to not listen to this request that I had that I have like full rights to make. And then to like make a scene and make her seem like a bad guy. It's just disrespectful. Like, you can just tell people that.
I would be way more reticent to invite sister to a big event later if like this is the kind of stuff she pulled.
I don't think this warrants no contact. I think this warrants like a serious conversation with your family member.
Serious conversation and then caution on the next event. She has yet to actually apologize and still acts like I was the unreasonable one. At this point, I'm just letting her stew in her own bad decisions. So yeah, hope you enjoy the read, even though the update is a bit late. And that is where this story ends.
The end.
I spent my childhood babysitting for my sister. The kids started calling me mom. Uh-oh. This seems problematic. I'm an 18-year-old female, and I have an older sister, 29, who has 2 children, ages 8 and 4. Most of my childhood was spent taking care of her children while she went out to parties and such. Now that I'm going off to do a course in practical nursing to boost my resume for university, she's asking me to put my future on hold and look after her children so that she can enjoy herself before I leave for university. By the way, this comes from Best Question 7940, and if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So your sister is taking away from your ability to have teenager experiences? Thing is, my mom warned me when I was young not to babysit or look after her children because of her attitude. I didn't listen. She also said that this might be my sister being jealous because she used to go to nursing school but made friends with the wrong group in the end, and then she didn't pass her final exam, so she dropped out of school. So everything came to a head yesterday because applications for the course started yesterday when I was talking to our mom about it. My sister heard that I applied. She got upset and started shouting about how selfish I am and how this is the only thing she's ever asked me to do. Like I didn't spend my whole childhood from age 11 to now looking after and taking care of her children. I told her to stop being childish and that it isn't my fault that she had children and I am not their mother. The children call me mom. They did for about 2 years, even when corrected, and they still call me mom. Apparently, I should have said this sooner. She started yelling at our mom, saying that I'm her favorite because if I wasn't, she would tell me to put my future aside and help her with her children. Our mom told her point blank that she would never tell any of us to put our future on hold.
She said that she gave us all the same opportunity, and it's not anyone's fault that she didn't use hers wisely. Now she has children, and I'm going to take my life more seriously. She needs to take responsibility for her children because no one told her to have them, and she can't look after them. She started crying and left. Then my mom started yelling at me, saying that she warned me from the very beginning, and I didn't listen. She said that I need to stop being a pushover because I lost my whole childhood when I was supposed to be outside playing with my friends, going out, and just being a kid. I was babysitting like I gave birth. She said it's my fault my sister became so entitled because when she made plans for me to go out, I would cancel to watch the children. She's not wrong. I would always feel sorry for my sister because she knew how to manipulate me just because I don't like to see people suffer or be sad. Sorry for the long post. I just want to know if I'm the a-hole for not putting my future on hold. Thank you for all the support and kind words. It has been eye-opening. So yesterday, after my sister left crying, she didn't come home immediately. She waited for her kids' school to be dismissed to pick them up. I know I should have expected her to try and poison them against me, but I really wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt that she wouldn't stoop that low. When they came home, the children were crying. They ran up to me asking me not to hate them, and that broke me. My niece went into a panic attack because when she gets overwhelmed, she starts having panic attacks. I've brought her to a doctor before, and she was diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety, so it takes a lot of my energy to calm her down as someone with ADHD as well.
She's just like me for real.
Dude, for real, me too. We see you, we're with you, we are you. Oh my gosh. I asked my mom to take the kids to my room as that's the only place they feel safe when they're overwhelmed. Wow, her room is the only place that they feel safe.
Again, insanity.
After they were out of earshot, I went off on my sister. I became a little personal with some of the things I said, but here's the gist of it. When will you grow up? You've had 7 to 8 years to run around, party, and do as you please, while I've been raising your children to the point where they call me mom. When will you wake up and be the best mother to your children instead of going out drinking and jumping from one man to another? I'm sick and tired of you. I'm not putting my life on hold for you. I've done enough for you. I love the kids, but as the only sensible role model they have, I do this to show them it's okay to leave people behind. So get your crap together and be the best mother you can to those kids because they're amazing. Do you think dealing with 2 children who have ADHD and are on the spectrum is easy? It's not, but I did do it without any help from anyone, not even mom because she was always working. And I can't really blame her because my dad passed and she was the only one there to work and provide for my younger brother and me. So yeah, I basically raised 3 kids from age 11 till now, and that's going to change. Wow, good on you, man.
Stand up for yourself. And this is us as Bing Bop Boom 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 Bop Bam.
Bing bop boom 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 bop bam. Wouldn't understand. I left her in the living room and called Tony and James, my nibling's father. I explained the situation and I told them it's time for them to be a part of their children's lives. Like they can't just send child support because children need their parents for proper development. Our 34-year-old brother, Josh, called mom and told her to have me pack my bags and move in with him until my program started. I'm going to write letters for my niblings so that their mom doesn't cause any more damage. I've made a list of things they like, how to get them to take their medicine, and how to calm them down. I even have a scrapbook of all of our moments for each of them. I did later explain to them that I'll always love them. I'm worried, even though I taught my niece how to take care of herself and her brother, I don't want a repeat of my upbringing. They deserve way more than that. My mom also apologized for neglecting me and not being a good mom. I've forgiven her. Later, after I helped my niblings with their homework, I bathed them and put them to bed and started my homework. My sister came into my room asking if we could talk. I said yes. She apologized. Interesting. Yes, she did. She said that she was jealous that I didn't make any wrong decisions, and she's going to send the kids to their father while she gets into rehab and therapy because her behavior isn't normal, and she's going to try to be the best mother she can. She thanked me for everything I did for her and the kids. By the way, we would always thank you for everything that you did. If what you did is listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is, just search OK Storytime and you'll find us.
We'll be right there waiting for you.
There's a little bit more to this story, but oh my gosh. She like actually apologized.
Finally.
Yeah, and it's like a real full apology and it's not some sort of like backhanded insults or arguments.
No, this was like this is why it happened, and I'm sorry it happened.
And she's like making the right choices to fix it.
Finally.
I was crying at this point. I guess she just realized how hurt the kids are when she told them that I hated them and that I was leaving. I told her that she's forgiven, but not fully. She has to show me that she will change. She hugged me and left. I guess this is a start. Even though it's small, it's still a change. Let's see how long it will last. I'm trying to get into therapy, but I'm on a waiting list. The earliest appointment available is in 9 months, which is a start, I suppose. Once again, thank you all for the support. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's the end of that story. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, a really big turnaround.
Yeah, they actually responded. They actually self-reflected,
You don't see that a lot,
began actions that proved that self-reflection.
and we like to see that.
All right. We got one.
Oh, we have a caller. Oh my gosh, I've never had a caller on here before. I've never been here.
Let me get their names going.
Hello. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Hi.
Is this Tia? Hello, Tia. Welcome, welcome.
So we hear you have a crazy Valentine's Day story.
I do. So it's my first Valentine's date in probably 10 years. First one after my marriage ended. And I'd gone out with a guy a couple times. Nice guy. So Valentine's Day, he says, come on over, we'll watch a movie.
Okay.
So first, he doesn't tell me that he lives in a rooming house that has no furniture in it, that he shares with 3 other guys on the top floor and 7 in the basement.
Whoa.
But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to judge. So we go to his room and, we get all cuddled up on the bed and flipping through the iPad looking for a show to watch. You know how you get that little tickle on your arm when your hair kind of brushes against your arm?
Yeah.
So I looked down and I had a little bug on my arm and I went, oh. And he goes, oh, that's okay. And he smacks it and it bleeds. And when bleed red, they've been snacking on something. Guys, I swear to you, I have never gotten up off a bed so fast in my life. The iPad went flying and he looks, it's not bed bugs, it's not bed bugs. So I grab him and I whip him around and I whip up his shirt and he's covered in bites.
No.
And he's still telling me it's not bed bugs. So I rip all the blankets back and it was an infestation.
Stop it.
His bed was covered in these bugs.
Oh my God. And he's sleeping on them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was covered in them. So I fly out the door. I've never ran so fast in my life. And I get in my car and I have a sense of humor. So I get 2 blocks away and my humor kicks in and I'm howling with laughter. So I get on, I'm watching you guys. I pull over and I do a voice call with all my girlfriends. I'm telling what's happening. I'm howling with laughter. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. He had bed bugs. This is the worst. I call my babysitter. I say, you need to turn off the lights, put a garbage bag on the porch and just leave it like that.
Yeah, because you can't go inside.
No. So this is one of the coldest Februaries we had. It was about minus 50-ish Celsius.
Oh my gosh.
And I get home and I'm standing on my porch. I stripped down to everything. I am literally standing on my front porch, things swinging in the air, everything's out. And my neighbor pulls up.
No.
She goes, hey, how you doing?
Oh, stop it.
She goes, how you doing? I'm like, don't want to talk about it. Should I bring some wine over? I'm like, bring it in 2 days. Don't bring it now.
Yeah.
So I shove all my stuff in this big garbage bag and I leave it outside because it's minus 50. Everything's going to freeze. It doesn't matter, right? Well, it matters because it was so gross. And of course, the last thing I did before I went in the house is I took a little picture from my girlfriends and sent it to them. And I'm like, yeah, look. And I walk in the house and my babysitter looks at me. And of course,
Of course.
and she goes, what happened? I don't want to talk about it. And she says, I just need to know if I just help cover up a crime because I don't trust you. And I said, it's not a crime yet, but I need to shower. So I went from minus 53 freezing outside to like scalding hot water. And for days afterwards, every single tickle, every single touch, I tore my bed apart for 2 weeks just to make sure.
Oh my goodness.
And I left my clothes outside for 3 days. And my neighbor brought wine. It's my first Valentine's date in years. The first one since my ex and I split up. Had bed bugs.
Oh my gosh.
The thing is, when you said that, like, you got bit, I thought mosquito first. But his immediate reaction of, it's not bed bugs, is so suspicious.
Yeah, and the fact He wasn't even like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. He's like, oh, it's no problem. Just kill it. Just kill it while it's on you and drinking your blood. It's fine.
No. I have such a big bed bug problem because when I was traveling, France had a huge bed bug problem. So I'm always just very aware of bed bugs now. That was a crazy story.
He was convinced it couldn't be bed bugs because he, quote, didn't feel any bites,
But he was covered in bites?
but his back covered. And then he got mad at me afterwards. So I wouldn't go back over.
That's on him.
I would be like, it seems like you're in a polyamorous relationship with your bed bugs.
That is crazy. Oh my gosh.
Tia, thank you for calling. Crazy story.
It's absolutely hilarious. I still have that picture. My friends still laugh about that.
That's so funny.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night. See you back in the chat.
That man clearly didn't listen. He just would sleep tight and he let those bed bug bite. He did.
My sister-in-law dictates everyone for the family holidays, and I finally spoke my mind.
Well, you know what they do with dictators.
They push their statues down. My 35 male brother, 34 male, got married 6 years ago. After the wedding, his wife, 30 female, insisted on hosting all family holidays to include her family as well as my brother's. This seemed logical at first. I felt she was just trying to include everyone so she wouldn't have to split her holidays between the two families. By the way, this comes from user Manders36. And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, the first year we agreed, and she presented us with assignments, including what she wanted each of us to bring. Now, it's typical for guests to bring something or at least offer to, but these were specific assignments with the stipulation that your invite would be revoked if you didn't agree to follow through. She assigned my mother to cook an entire turkey with sides and bring it on Thanksgiving Day. My mother wasn't just making the turkey dinner, she also had to pack it up hot and transport it. My younger brother, 30 male, and I, who are not married and typically attend alone, were also given assignments. These included the exact items to bring, the brands, the quantity, and the amount to spend. Both my younger brother and I voiced our opinions about this at first, but we ended up following through just to keep the peace. Fast forward 5 years, and this has been happening for every Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. This past weekend, my mother invited both of my brothers and me over for Sunday dinner. Thanksgiving is coming up, and towards the end of the dinner, my sister-in-law announces our invite for Thanksgiving while pulling up her notes on her phone from previous years. So she starts assigning items to my mother, my brother, and me. I tell her I'm too busy this year and that I'll bring wine or beer, but I cannot cook or prepare anything. She huffs, turns to my brother, her husband, and starts discussing how much certain types of wine cost per bottle and how many I should be purchasing. At this point, I'm already mad that she completely dismissed what I said. As I listen to her discuss costs, I sternly and directly tell her that if it's coming down to money, I don't want to come. And she turns to me and says, "You know, the F what? Manders 36? You need to effing come then." I look at her and say, "Well, that settles that." My poor mom and dad both look at each other concerned. My mother asks her not to curse, and sister-in-law gets up and leaves the house. My brother grabs his daughter and starts to leave after her. I apologize to him, and he tells me that he spends a lot of time and money hosting the holidays and that it wouldn't hurt me to bring whatever his wife wants. After they leave, I talk it through with my other brother and my parents. They agree I'm not wrong, but say I could have handled it differently. I agree, though I'm still mad. This was a long time coming. I go home and sleep on it, and in the morning, I text sister-in-law the following. "Sister-in-law, I'm sorry the situation escalated the way it did last night. I shouldn't have been so blunt. I could have found a nicer way to tell you that I don't like or feel comfortable being told what to spend or bring. I don't mind being asked. But explicitly told what to bring or how much I should spend feels like more like an assignment than an invite. In past instances, I've mentioned that I don't like this, but have never properly conveyed my feelings on the subject. That's my fault. It's my opinion that any contribution should be voluntary and not an ultimatum for being invited. I don't like how that makes me feel. Invite me simply because you want to include me and for no other reason. My presence is your present. Otherwise, it's okay not to. Allow me the opportunity to offer to bring something before telling me to do so. The time and money that goes into hosting a holiday is not lost on me, If you want or need help, I don't mind you reaching out, but I ask that you do so in an honest way that doesn't inflict guilt or obligation. Allow me my own discretion without any preconceived expectations.
That was pretty flip-floppy.
This is all way too much.
Yeah.
I'm putting that out there.
I don't know.
This
I
is
feel like-
way too much. This is, hey, in the future, just can I bring what I want to bring to Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and then
But also just like the way that OP is writing this is kind of annoying me because they're like, don't tell me to bring something, ask me to bring something, and be honest that you need me to bring, like,
it's too much.
just say, hey, you were a little bit rude when you asked. Like, that's the problem here. It's just the rudeness. It's like,
Yeah.
it's normal to ask people to bring things to Thanksgiving.
I apologize for my indiscretion and lack of communication. Manders 36. I received this back.
All right, let's see.
Hi, Manders 36. I'm really sorry that asking you to bring something specific that costs less than the amount of food you consume bothers you. To be honest, I hand out assignments because you and younger brother never offer right away, and I'm afraid that you'll wait until the day before to ask, and it will be too late because husband and I have already spent the money. From now on, you can just bring yourself, and I will not ask you for anything. Thank you for letting me know so explicitly how much you can't stand the way I choose to host parties at my house. Next time, instead of getting mad, you can always just try to talk to me about it and not make a scene in front of your whole family and embarrass me. Sorry again. Both of these people suck.
I agree. They both suck. I think I'm on everyone's the a-hole here because I think OP doesn't know what a normal Thanksgiving is like. And also, the sister-in-law is an a-hole.
OP says, I know I could have been more polite or communicated my feelings better, as I admitted in my apology. We never offer because we've always been assigned things to make or bring a month in advance. I'm also not concerned with the amount of money. It's about being dictated how much I'm required to spend just to attend the holidays with my family. I also have celiac disease and can't eat most of what's served. It's medically not possible for me to consume more food than what I spend each year on her requests. I honestly attempted to apologize and explain how I feel. I'm just looking for others' opinions on how they would feel in my situation. How would you react? Am I in the wrong or being unreasonable? Am I right to feel used? No. If I'm in the wrong, what can I do to improve myself? Your opinions are appreciated. Thank you for reading. And there's an edit. Just wanted to thank everyone for their time. I appreciate everyone who shared personal examples, opinions, and advice, as well as a couple of laughs. I read every reply and did my best to respond to many of you. Dealing with family can be delicate. Decisions made can have lifelong effects. She's my sister-in-law, whether I like it or not. I love my brother no matter who he married. I take a lot of your comments to heart. The various personal anecdotes and points of view were beyond helpful. I may not be joining them for Thanksgiving, but I will do what I need to maintain my relationship with my brother and avoid any unnecessary conflict with sister-in-law that only makes his life more difficult. Take it easy, Reddit. Thank you. And here we do have an update, but
Yeah.
before we get into it.
I still think that OP didn't approach it great, but I think that maybe she could have they could have a conversation with the sister-in-law and be like, "Hey, I'm going to bring a gluten-free option. That can be and I'll bring some drinks if you need them, but like that's my contribution."
Yeah.
To be clear, sister-in-law definitely in the a-hole.
Yeah.
I just think that OP could both approach this differently, and also is just the way that they are wording their complaints doesn't make too much sense to me.
Here's the update. Just to give all you fine folks a quick update. After venting to a couple of close friends and one of my closest cousins, I ended up with 3 invites for Thanksgiving. I'll be spending the holiday with friends and, if time allows, also visiting my extended family. An attempt to talk to my brother has gone nowhere, unfortunately. I'm told I'm looking at this only from my perspective and that her actions are justified because I embarrassed her in front of my parents and made her uncomfortable. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
I embarrassed her in front of my parents and made her uncomfortable?
What was so embarrassing, though?
I don't remember, honestly.
You know what I do remember is that you can listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you have to do is go to iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. And there you will find every single episode you could ever listen to of this show. We have a little bit more story left. Okay, yeah, I just removed myself from the situation as best as I could. My parents are upset that I won't be there, but they understand as I've had quite a few long conversations with my father about the situation. Anyways, thanks again for all your advice and time. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And we have some comments. Number 1, I don't think your sister-in-law understands what the word host means. It means whomever is hosting the meal pays for it and cooks it in its entirety. That is
That's
insane.
not true.
That is crazy.
That's not what are. Okay, maybe it's because I have a really large family, but you do. I mean, like when you're hosting, you are cooking a lot of it, but
In its entirety is crazy.
It
It's like
is.
people
That's- yeah,
pitch in,
that's
people
insane.
bring stuff. Come
Yeah.
on.
like at any dinner, not even just a Thanksgiving. I feel like
Yeah.
anytime someone's like, "Hey, do you want me to bring drinks?"
Yes, it's expensive. And yes, in most families, in my experience, the food prep is often shared amongst several people, but that's typically on a voluntary basis.
Dude, so you
Who
just
you're just describing your one unique situation,
you
my
literally
guy.
just like negated what you started with.
Your family is being voluntold by your sister-in-law, and she expects everyone to pay for their plates. WTF? That's a tacky concept at weddings, and it's just as tacky at a family holiday meal. I agree with PPs that it's time to talk things over with your own immediate family and start hosting your own holiday dinners. Sister-in-law will just have to figure out how to navigate 2 family dinners on a single holiday, just like the rest of us do. Comment number 2. Assuming you're describing the exchange between the 2 of you at dinner is unedited, she's the one who flew off the handle. She's the one who got angry, stormed out, and cursed at you. I feel kind of upset about this, and I'm not even invited. You probably set a bad precedent by letting it go all those years, but honestly, I think you're apologizing far more than is necessary, and that
I don't think
is the
OP's
end of that
apologized
story.
at all.
Nobody has apologized.
What are you talking?
Both of these
I
comments
apologize
were...
far more than necessary. OP never apologized. OP went, I'm sorry that I, like did that, but I'm not actually sorry. And then the sister-in-law said, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like, those were the same apologies. I have learned as both a host and both as a person who goes to parties, it's usually, at least in the US, it's usually pretty potluck style.
Yeah.
Unless it's for, there are certain cases where the host will do everything, I would say.
My sister called me lazy for wanting to pursue my dream. March 27th, 2025. For background, I, female 28, have been working for a bank as a processor for the last 10 years. And while I know I'm lucky to have my job, my working pattern is good and I have the option to work from home. The job itself is boring and can be stressful, and it's not what I want to do with my life. I could never decide what I wanted to do when I was younger, and instead of going to college, I decided to work and gain experience for maybe a year or so until I could make up my mind before returning to higher education. But I got too used to making money and never did. By the way, this comes from a brilliant novel, 8385, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, fast forward 10 years, and I've come to the conclusion that what I would like to do is write books full time. I've been writing and self-publishing for a few years now. However, I would like to be able to dedicate more time to it, but up until now, that's never been an option. My husband, male 30, was promoted almost 2 years ago now and is literally doing his dream job. He makes far more than I do, but not quite enough to completely support us just yet. But recently, he took me aside and said that he knew I wasn't happy in my job and it was hurting him to see. He suggested that instead of working a 40-hour week, I reduce my hours and maybe do 25 instead, as we can easily afford it. I was completely over the moon at this suggestion and agreed. Work was also happy to accommodate due to my length service. My sister, female 24, on the other hand, was not so happy about my decision. Why does she have a say in this?
In what universe does that really hold much weight?
Yeah, not this one. That's for sure. My sister and her husband, male 27, both work full-time hours and have 2 young children. My sister has accused me of being lazy and saying that I shouldn't be taking less hours unless I have children.
in order to do something that's just a hobby. She says that even she has to work full time in order to raise her children, and that me not feeling like working isn't an excuse to sit around the house and do nothing all day while my husband is out making money.
Damn, is OP's sister like extra jiggly?
I've told her that I've worked nonstop since I was 18 years old and now finally know what I want to do with my life, which got me the response that if I took more initiative to find out before now, I could have been doing what I love professionally for years instead of just starting out. This is where I think I might have been an a-hole. But I basically told my sister that while I could sympathize with the fact that she has a lot on her plate, it's not my fault that she has children and I don't. At this point, she raged at me, saying I'm clearly too irresponsible to understand the sacrifice and dedication it takes to have one child, never mind two, and that if I want to be a part-time worker and write silly love stories, then I can go do that. I've spoken to my parents, and while they don't think I'm in the wrong, they say I should be more understanding of why me and my husband being in a better financial position is a sore spot. So am I the a-hole? And there's an edit. I'm honestly overwhelmed by the response that this has gotten and incredibly appreciative of everyone's support, so thank you all for your input. I'm feeling a lot better about things now and less angry overall as a result. We do have a slight update coming up, but is she the a-hole? What do we think?
No, and the parents are also being a-holes right now because they're like, you need to understand why she's upset about the income thing. And it's like, no. She needs to understand that her being upset about something doesn't entitle her to behave this way to someone like, her sister. Instead, that she should be supportive and happy that she's able to pursue a passion.
I do agree that, like, with things like that, they can be a little sensitive for, like, anyone, like, bringing that stuff up. But at the same time, yeah, like, that doesn't excuse her response to that at all.
0%. Just a quick little personal reference. It's like, I was dating somebody and we were both actors, right? And she had booked something. And, like, at first, I actually was, like, really jealous. But then, it dissipated. But then I brought up, I was like, hey, I feel like I have to tell you, like, I got, like, really jealous about you getting that. And then we just, like, talked it out and it was fine. It wasn't like it needed to be like, oh, well, you need to be more understanding of why I'm jealous.
Exactly. But we have a slight update. I received a call from my sister's husband about an hour ago. For context, the argument with my sister happened on Tuesday, not Wednesday. He said that he'd noticed my sister had been off for a few days, but wouldn't tell him what was wrong. She finally caved today. He made it clear on the phone call that he doesn't agree one bit with what my sister said to me, and that he's told her that she needs to apologize for being cruel and judgmental over what was supposed to be good news in my life. That's a great way to put it. He didn't elaborate, but hinted that there was more to why my sister reacted the way she did. He also said he'd come over tomorrow with my sister so we can talk. Hopefully we can sort things out because I love my sister and ultimately want her to be as happy as I am in my life. The Am I the A-hole consensus bot? OP was not the a-hole according to the comments. Some of the comments are coming right up. Commenter number 1 says, you are an independent married woman. Why are you seeking approval from your birth family for your marital and life choices? OP responds, I honestly didn't think it would be a big deal when I told them. It was more of a, here is what's going on in my life. And this is what I was met with, unfortunately.
There was no like seeking of approval. It was more like I said this thing and my sister just got nasty. What do I do now?
That commenter was a silly Billy. Commenter number 2 says, not the a-hole, but is your sister in healthcare or retail? Something feels familiar about that sentiment. OP says dental assistant, so somewhat healthcare. Commenter number 3 says, info, it depends on your tone. Good point. Were you a matter of fact or matching her energy? You should be shutting down your younger sister immediately when she attacks you for sharing things happening in your life. Rage is not a typical sibling response to jealousy, but you don't seem surprised by her reaction. You should be. I assume from your parents, what did you expect type response, and that you waited longer than needed to say anything. She is trained to receive no consequences or reaction to tantrums and rage. If that's the case, what took you so long? Diving in deep.
Why was that comment talking about OP's sister like it's like a dog or something? I can tell by the way that it responded that it's been trained to know. Like, it's like, come on, guy, what are we talking about?
Honestly, probably today, I was thinking about how similar people are to dogs and how you have to train them like that. So actually, I really disagree with you. Like, it was literally a passing thought in my mind.
We literally had a story earlier where we were like, this guy wants a girlfriend, but really he just needs a dog.
But OP responds, I would like to think I was being a matter of fact, but honestly, I was probably more just over being in lecture mode by the time I said what I did. It was on the same day I responded this way. She'd come over for a visit and chat, and for the most part, we get on quite well generally. I wasn't surprised she wasn't totally supportive, but her reasoning for not being supportive baffled me. I had once said jokingly before that I'd love to be able to quit my job, and here's hoping one day my husband would be able to earn enough money for the both of us. At no point did I ever think this could ever be the case, but even then, my sister said that that wouldn't be a good idea. Though her reasoning at the time was, what if we ever got divorced? How would I support myself? That's a good point.
Just to ever think that like hopefully one day my husband makes enough for both of us, and then being like, all right, bet. I'll remember that. It's like not actually part of the plan. My bad. The wires got crossed there. My husband is not going to support you.
Commenter number 4 says, I bet she's pregnant. OP says, my husband jokingly suggested this, but now I have the fear. We have an update.
She's mad, stressed out. She's going to have a third kid to take care of.
She's just like, what the heck, man? This is going to cost me tens of thousands of more dollars, and you're just like quitting just so you can write a book?
Dang it. Just so you can write these silly love stories. Write a book about being a dental assistant.
We have an update. March 28th, 2025. The next day. This is an update to my original post. I didn't think I was going to write an update to this at all. They never think they're going to write an update. But I got a few messages and requests for an update, so here we are. My sister and her husband came by today as promised. They actually came over much earlier than I was anticipating and left a couple of hours ago. So I don't know if I managed to say everything. I probably should have at the time, but here's the gist for those of you who wanted to know. It didn't take a genius to see that my sister wasn't doing too well. She normally takes pride in her appearance and how she dresses, while I'm usually the one to prioritize sleep over putting on a full face of makeup. But when she turned up this morning, she looked as if she hadn't slept in days. She had no makeup on, and she was just wearing some loungewear. Not overly important details, except that she didn't look like my sister at all. She immediately apologized as soon as she walked into the living room and hugged me before I could say anything. I hugged her back because she's my little sister, and no matter what, I love her to death. It also occurred to me that it felt as if she's lost a ton of weight, and while she's always been slim, this worried me a bit, and any residual annoyance I might have felt dwindled quite quickly. A lot of you guessed that my sister is pregnant with baby number 3. Sorry to disappoint, but this turned out to not be the case. As it turns out, my nephew, male 4, her eldest son, has been diagnosed with autism. I thought that was going to go somewhere else. That's why the tone, but...
You were like getting ready for something real bad?
Yeah, no. It's like, oh, okay. And has been having some major behavioral problems as of late. He's always been a rambunctious kid and prone to a tantrum, but I put this down to him being a child and didn't think too much of it. Apparently, he's been having huge meltdowns at nursery school, leading him to being violent with other kids and members of staff, and it's led to my sister having to leave early from work on very short notice and has had to call in sick several times when he's in a bad way. Due to this, she's been called into a disciplinary meeting, which might lead to a formal hearing, and it's really worrying her. She's also incredibly worried about what her son's life is going to look like and how much support he'll need moving forward. Her husband is there for her, of course, but he works a job where he needs to drive hours away at a time, so isn't always at home in the mornings when things are at their worst. His mother lives alone in another part of the country, and our parents aren't able to do a whole lot of babysitting as our mother still works and our dad has bad problems with his back. She acknowledges that her behavior was totally uncalled for, but that hearing about me being in a position to be able to cut my hours when she's worrying about even having a job in a couple of weeks really triggered her, and that she's been on medication for her mood for several weeks now as it is. I told her that of course I understood how her position could be stressful and upsetting, but if she had trusted me with this info and confided in me as a sister, of course I would have been there for her in any way I could have. Her husband cut in at this point and assured me that they were both incredibly grateful for every time I and my own husband had helped them out over the years. And he didn't want this to be something that caused our families to drift apart. My sister agreed, and again, she acknowledged her mistake and admitted that she feels like recently things have been really difficult for her while my life seems to be falling into place. She said that even when I was at my lowest, I still did everything with an air of confidence that she has always lacked, and that even when I didn't know where my life was going, I always held my head high and saw the positives. Something she is really struggling to do right now. She also told me that she told our parents about speaking to a doctor and being on medication for depression, but had asked them to not say anything to anyone, which is probably why they wanted me to go easy on her. Overall, I'm not mad anymore, and I know that deep down my sister is happy for me. She's just in an uncertain situation right now, and it got the best of her.
Talk to the people who care about you and love about you when you have problems and stuff. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, and I feel like also another thing to pay attention to is like the age difference. Like the sister is 24 and OP is 28. Like that's not a big difference, but it's still like it's hard to compare yourself to someone that's like got a lot more experience than you or something like that, or has gone through more things. It's like, it's just, things take time.
And it's a sibling dynamic. I'm not familiar with it. I'm an only child, but it's like, she's the younger sibling, but she's the one with 3 kids and her older sister doesn't have any. So she's feeling like, why am I the only one struggling to raise a family?
Yeah, and you're also raising a family. Like, that's hard, man.
Yeah, with all the trials and tribulations that come with that. He's just being like, my family's so freaking sick. We got raised so good, dude. Feed him dirt and sawdust and send him to the freaking mill at 10.
Veto. I'm going to veto that one.
All right, fine. Just the sawdust, not the dirt. Fun fact, though, just a little bit of sawdust, edible. Don't eat that. Do not do that.
That's what the Germans did because they had to eat food, and so they put sawdust in their food.
They would make bread. They would cut the flour with sawdust so that it would last longer. And it tastes really bad. Yeah, there's a guy who made a video about it, and I watched it.
You know what you could listen to is more episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and search OK Storytime. We got you.
We'll hold you close in your ears.
But there is a little bit more to the story.
I mean, yeah, I think the solution here is just to lean on the folks who tell you to lean on them. Don't cut yourself out.
Edit. Thank you all for the incredible suggestions and sources of support that may be able to help my sister and my nephew. This is all still very new, not just to me, but for them too. And no doubt we'll all be spending a very long time looking into the best options and seeing what is best going forward. I may not be the best when it comes to childcare, but if there's one thing my job has taught me this last decade, it's how to get as many details and as much info as possible. So no doubt I'll be putting that skill to good use very shortly. There are some comments quickly. Commenter number 1 says, I'm sorry she's having a hard time. To be honest, I still feel like they are trying to talk you into babysitters for her son. Helping your sister is important, but if they ask this, please think about what your means for your dream. OP responds, trust me, I've been very clear about this with them, and honestly, as much as I love my nephews, I've never been a go-to for babysitting in general. They know my tolerance for kids is very low at the best of times, and considering my eldest nephew's additional needs, I think we all know that would be a massive disaster waiting to happen. Commenter number 2 says, I'm glad she was able to apologize to you. Her being stressed doesn't make it okay for her to take that out on you. You can do whatever you want with your time. It's not up to her. Also, I'm just curious, is it always your sister that has to take care of the kid and miss work? Being a default parent is super, super stressful, and it seems like her husband doesn't take time off to help the kids having issues. He's a parent too. It shouldn't be on her every single time. OP responds, from what I understand, it hasn't been out of choice. It's more that whenever there's been a call about my nephew needing to be picked up early from nursery because he's in the middle of a meltdown and no one can get him out of it, she's the one close enough to be able to do it, as her husband can sometimes be literal hours away. Plus, a lot of the time, he has to be out early in the morning so he can be back at a decent time in the early evening, and it just so happens that mornings can be difficult if the little guy isn't feeling it. This is all still very new for them, and they know changes need to be made and options looked into to make things easier. Commenter number 3 says, your poor sister. She seems truly remorseful. No one is truly prepared for a child with special needs, and having to work full time on top of that is incredibly hard. And let's be honest, life is easier without kids.
Who's out there lying about that? Who's out there being like, man, my life got so much simpler and easier when I had 2 kids?
So much easier. Oh my gosh. Losing your job has a different meaning when you have kids who completely depend on you. I would look into all the programs in your area that help with special needs, and I know where I live, special needs kids can start public school at age 3, where they can get the help that they need. I really hope things work out for your sister in the long run. And that is it. That is the end of that story. One time when I was younger and the after school daycare thing I went to, there was a person with autism, and he would have tantrums and stuff. He had a person that was assigned to him, special teacher that knew how to deal with special needs and stuff like that. She was literally there for him. You know what I mean? That sounds expensive, honestly, but it might be something that could help.
For sure. I'm sure there, depending on where you're at, check what kind of programs are available to you, state level programs or even school district level programs. You never know what's out there until you look. But that is the end of that story.
My great aunt treated me poorly for years. I refused to interact with her ever again.
Not such a great aunt after all.
All right, so I, 23 female, hardly interact with my great aunt on my mother's side. We'll call her A. A is married to my grandmother's brother, making her my great aunt. This is important. By the way, this comes from It's Me Woman Calm Down. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. This woman has always had it out for me. She's very two-faced. First, I'll give some backstory on our relationship when I realized she had it out for me, and then the last straw that made me cut her out almost completely. When I was in elementary school, I never really noticed how A didn't like me. I noticed she favored my little sister, but it never bothered me much. A was a bus driver for many years, and sometimes she would let me ride her bus to school while my parents had work. Both are registered nurses at a hospital, dad working nights, mom working days. She even let me and my family live with her for a short time until we could get back on our feet. Now that I look back, I think it was because of my great uncle, her husband, we'll call you. I get that I had a bit of a behavioral issue due to ADD and some other things, but that's another story. I could have a temper and had a hard time regulating some of my emotions. But here's the thing, when my sister would hurt me or do anything, I would be the one in trouble. No matter what or who started it, I was always the troublemaker and the heathen. Heathen's such like a very specific...
troublemaker and the heathen.
It's such a specific like insult.
Your mom, I mean, is your great aunt like a Puritan or something?
I don't know. She would also fat shame me. I
Yikes.
was underweight for my height and age at the time, saying that I shouldn't eat too much. She would give me, an 8-year-old, the same portion as my 3-year-old sister. If you don't stop eating like that, you'll be fat like me and your mom, she'd say. My mom was still trying to lose the baby weight, and A would just obese at the time. Okay, so you're right. She's not eating properly,
Yeah.
but she's calling her fat. So she's playing mind games with her. This stuck with me, and throughout middle school, I would starve myself for a week and a half at a time.
Yeah, she literally gave her an eating disorder because she was unhappy with how she looked. And so she put that on a 8-year-old.
Oh,
That's terrible.
this has messed up my stomach in many ways to this day. Oh, it's got lasting effects. That's fantastic. I realized she had it out for me when I fell very ill. I was diagnosed with a rarer form of SLE, which is lupus, and many other things that came with it. I was so ill that I was on my way to a permanent sleep. I went through 2 years of chemotherapy, infusions, and taking 26 plus pills a day to survive.
Oh my God.
I'm going on to my 8th year of no chemo. Yay me. Oh my God. OP.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations for
You've been
getting
through a
that.
lot.
But yeah, wow.
Like you got put through something that nobody should be put
Yeah.
through, much less like a child.
Truly.
On top of this, I had a lot of mental health issues and trauma. That's a big story for another day. Like, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
You're not going to go through this without that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was going through this right before my 2nd year of chemo. My grandfather, my best friend in the world, had passed away.
Oh my
It's just taking L upon
my
L.
OP, you're going through so much, man. Jeez.
I found out everything my aunt had been saying about me. She was telling people my parents were exaggerating about my illness and that it wasn't that serious because she had a friend with lupus. Well, my mother talked to this friend, and it turns out that woman didn't have the same kind of lupus I had, or even the same severity. This woman wasn't even diagnosed or showing signs until later in life, while I was diagnosed around 12 or 13, showing signs much earlier, which at the time was very rare for my age bracket. A was telling my mother's brother all of these lies. I found out the day of my grandfather's funeral viewing, all because I couldn't hold it in anymore, and I snapped. I sobbed for my best friend to come back to me or for him to take me with him. Most of the people had left, and my cousins convinced me to at least visit the casket before we closed it for the burial the next day. I wish I never did. My uncle said, now she just wants even more attention than she's already getting.
Oh my God. Shut up.
It's always about her. And now that I recall, I think he said something to me before the funeral about it being about my grandfather and not me. But the whole time was a blur because I was distraught. I've been to tons of funerals, but my grandfather's was the most painful and life-changing loss. That's when my mother lost it, and he spilled everything A has been saying about me and my family. She wasn't only saying that, but that I was milking it for attention, that I would be a teen mom. Joke's on her. I did not have the horizontal spicy time until I was married. And now I'm divorced. Another long trauma-inducing story. OP, are you okay?
OP can't catch a break.
Oh no.
So
I
sad.
want to give OP a hug.
Literally. This is so sad.
She even convinced my little sister's teacher to lie to the doctors so that my sister wouldn't be put on ADHD meds because she would end up on a bunch of pills like
Freaking
me.
fire that teacher, man.
She
That's
did,
a
and it
terrible
said a
teacher.
lot.
That's a terrible teacher.
I feel like that's
illegal to do.
It is illegal.
That's like a violation of trust. Like I know teachers are mandated reporters.
Yeah. So what are you doing, teacher?
That you should get your license revoked for that.
Absolutely.
Like that's not
Not be
your
teaching
place.
children.
Now, to why I am finally low to no contact. My great-grandfather, on my mom's side, the father of my grandfather and you, great uncle who is married to A, passed away a few years ago. My mother was his main caretaker and even took a casual job at the hospital to work with the in-home nursing aid company to take care of him. A month or less before he passed, there was a lot of money in his account. In his will, he stated that every grandkid and great-grandkid was to get a portion of this money. There was enough in his account for each of us to have $15,000. Mind you, there are 10 or 11 of us. When he passed away, they went to check the accounts once the will was gone through, and all of the money was gone.
No. How did anyone have access to that? Like, I would immediately be like, who had access to this?
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's a freaking on.
they should have like transaction records
Yeah.
of
That's
who
crazy.
accessed and when, so it should be fairly easy to trace
Oh,
at that point.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
The only person who had access to that account was you, and you wouldn't have just taken the money unless A pushed. But my mom and I were thinking that A forged his signature and took the money. And here's why we think so.
I buy it.
They magically had all this money. A went across the country and was on vacation for several weeks without you. She's a retired bus driver, and you is a master plumber who, at the time, had just opened his new business. She magically had the money to buy tickets for her little family to go on a cruise and even bought Taylor Swift tickets for her kids and their friends.
Damn.
These are only a few things. I honestly wouldn't have cared about the money, but I could have used that money to save myself. I was in a harmful marriage, living in my car, and on the run for him for 3 months, and had to pay for the divorce by myself. OP,
OP.
please tell me that you're okay. Please tell me that you're
I want you to have a
safe.
win. I want you to have a win so bad. Please.
Yeah, that money could have kept you safe.
Yeah.
I was in college and my husband at the time wouldn't let me get a job. I have a stress disorder, so I couldn't have a job and work at the same time as classes. You have a stress disorder? I wonder who.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder who maybe started
Yeah,
that,
Jesus.
and maybe
A whole freaking
Like,
stressful life.
I'm surprised that like it's not worse for
I
OP.
know.
My mom could have used the money when our family farm needed repairs, and when my mom was out of work for a couple months due to blood clots in her lungs, and she could hardly breathe because of that and her asthma. A did not offer a lick of help. Didn't even buy my brother a Christmas gift, but bought my sister all kinds of stuff. She also makes fun of and trash talks my mom and other family members and friends. But you know what? We'll never trash talk on you for listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your other favorite podcast platform and just search OK Storytime. Don't worry. We'll never do these kinds of things to you.
No. Oh my goodness. OP needs, block this woman out. Get her out of your life. Cut her off. No contact. She's
Yeah.
a demon. She's a demon.
Like at this point, do you like go after her like
I think
legally
you could
and
absolutely
criminally?
sue her,
You
for
could.
taking the money.
If you could prove it, you could. But like at this point,
Proving it would be hard.
do you think that OP has like the energy
The mental
and like
energy?
fortitude
Yeah, probably
to
not.
do it at this point?
I
Like,
mean, also OP was like saying that they were on the run from like a bad relationship. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm certain they didn't have the time when it was.
No.
They actively were thinking.
but
about
it's
it.
like OP should absolutely do that. But like, what's the guarantee they'll even get any of that money back, even if it like,
yeah, and you have to spend a lot on legal fees and stuff. And
like how much
yeah.
in the end are you going to get?
Yeah, tricky.
All right, there's a relevant update. Let's get into it. Then A and U got mad because I left a birthday party for my cousin's baby without telling them goodbye. Even though I told the people around me I had blisters in my throat and wasn't feeling good, I told everyone nearby goodbye, but I just didn't go out of my way to find them. Now, recently, I haven't spoken to A since maybe the summer, and I refused to go to their Christmas Eve party. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to interact with her anymore?
No,
I don't think that.
no.
I think you know.
Leave.
I think you know.
Get her out
Just
of your life, please.
cut off the contact.
Cut off contact.
You don't need that on top of everything else
No, you're
that you're
going
going
through
with.
enough.
Comments. Definitely not the a-hole.
The childhood trauma alone would have been good enough to go no contact, let alone all the stuff that happened when you were older. Opie replied, I thought so, but some of my family is telling me I need to forgive some people
No.
and let go.
No.
They told me I am forgiving the wrong people and holding the wrong grudges. Okay, that's not up to them to say. Like, they didn't
Nope.
go through it. I understand, like, the logic behind forgive and forget, but that doesn't always apply.
Not when she as actively
No.
hurting you.
Not when she had to go through chemo with lupus and she was spreading rumors that the
You were
lupus
all
wasn't
making
that
it up,
bad.
yeah.
Now you're making it up for attention. Also try to get OP's sister to not get the proper medication.
Also probably stole
and
your
stole
money.
the money.
Yeah. Nope. Don't forgive her.
No,
Cut her
that's-
out of your life.
That's beyond forgiveness. At that point, the forgiveness is I'm not calling the police on you and
Yeah.
opening an investigation.
Yeah, she could, because Opie, you could do that. But that is the end of that story.
We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.